15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo.
Now, I'm sure that most of you know the old story about the astronaut who went far out into space and was asked on his return whether he had been to heaven and seen God. And he said yes.
Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries, and sentient artificial intelligence. Join us on this journey to find the others. Because no matter where we find ourselves in this multiverse, the act of existing is all too familiar.
Guys? Is anybody out there? Hello?
The mushroom has a tremendous problem-solving ability.
Herb is a plant. Herbs are good for everything.
As we look across this great expanse and stare at the stars, we can't help but be reminded these lights, though we're seeing them all at the same time, happen across a multi-billion-year delta. Some of those fires burned millions of years ago, some billions, but all of them happened so we could experience them in this one singular moment.
They called us scouts. They called us seekers.
15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
God, I love that woman. I love that woman. Yep. Hold tight. Hold tight. No, it's on the actual computer sound settings.
I feel like I should have coffee. Steve, I'm just drinking your coffee.
What? This is where it should be.
Okay, well, this is embarrassing. I got a pen and paper?
It's okay.
We're good now.
We are good.
This is embarrassing. Okay.
It was a
It was a mic problem, and you can decide whether or not
even
that's
figure
a
out what the hell was
microphone
going on.
problem
I had everything
or a
just
mic ote problem.
Which one is it?
Ote problem.
Guys, welcome, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries, sentient artificial intelligence, the whole lot of you. Welcome to the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. 12/9/19. We're here. We're joined with our buddy Adam Meredith from the Outside Perspective podcast.
That is I. What's the etiquette? Do I get this close?
Well, we did the mic check, Adam.
Yeah,
You tell me.
You never done a podcast
Wherever
before?
you did
Watch, Mike's going to be on him. But Mike has already failed miserably. Bad.
That's what it is. I'm just worried.
Don't be worried.
Okay.
Listen,
We're getting weird. We're in my basement right now. Like a couple of fucking jackbones.
Yeah, normally when we got four guys in a basement, it spells a much different story. Typically,
That's true.
A
little more Vaseline.
And that's when the whores come in.
Yep, that's when the horrors come in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Hoosier Sophisticate. Tonight we're going to talk about Star Wars and Adam Meredith, and we have some weed news and some cannabis news too. I hope you guys will enjoy it.
maybe you will, maybe you won't. Steve-O, what a week, buddy.
What a week, man. I'm on tilt. I fucking put a chicken spoon in my coffee earlier.
Steve's like, why is this oily?
I was like, is coconut oil in here? And she's like, no, I didn't. My wife, Jen, my lovely wife, she's like, no, I didn't put. I just see all these little things of oil rising to the top and like some like just chunks. And I'm like, there's weird things in there. Well, I had used a chicken stock spoon or some sort of chicken spoon. Yeah. Chicken stock spoon.
Chicken stock spoon.
That's good for
I don't know. I feel like I'm being wedged out of my own fucking show right now, so that's not cool. Mike, move the screen over and put me in front of the goddamn text bar. I told you. I want to be able to do this. I can't do it. Craig fucked me.
Listen, Mike.
Craig fucked me. My arm's gone. No. I hate him.
We had some.
Oh no, that's my face, Adam. That's my face.
This show is much better already.
This is good. This is really good. Steve looks funny.
Steve
looks funny. Thanks,
right,
Steve Holberg.
Chicken coffee.
Okay.
Now we can hear. Thank you.
Chicken
Ashley
coffee.
Davis.
Don't tell them what happens in the closet,
closet.
Heather. That was not worthy of 3 laughy face emojis. So get the F over yourself right now. Let's see what goes on with these now that we got our new guys in.
It's not weird.
Okay.
Snooching.
Hey, can we get the transition speed up, Mike? Good, for the fuck's sake. Change that to 500.
Here. There we go.
Oh,
I love this show. I love it.
It's
That
the
was
best show.
amazing.
I didn't know where I was just for a second.
If you don't think this is the best show on the internet, you're not.
You're dumb.
You're dumb.
You're the dumbest person alive.
You have no taste. Is really
So,
what it
Craig,
comes
I was
down
on
to.
tilt about the chicken coffee. I'm over it now. We're having a great time right now with friends.
One of the. I hope Adam doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that watches very much content. He's very fit. He's got a burgeoning podcast. He's probably not Netflix streaming pick. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you are. But we usually do some streaming picks. Steve's on a journey right now at 36 years old now, where he is just now getting into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
So we're going to touch on that a little bit.
So you're new to the Star Wars.
He's new.
Here's what
Even as a kid, you didn't?
Here's what I knew. As a kid, I walked into my dad watching the scene where I guess Luke or Hans, I'm not there yet, Han, was cutting open the tauntaun, and then getting inside of it. And I was like, Dad, what usually you're watching some sort of penetration video.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like this.
And this is a different penetration
You walking
video.
in on your dad watching Empire is leaps and bounds better than how I found out there was no Santa Claus.
Okay.
How did you find out?
Oh,
I think we went into that. I think we did that on the
we
CNN
did it
Really
on the
Real.
we did it on the changing station. I don't want to bring I don't want
it's pretty good. Let's give
anybody.
come on.
I'll give you a little taste. A little quick little small taste. I found out that Santa was. I heard a rustle. under the
Rustle and a
tree.
tussle.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna go catch this fucking bastard, and I run out as fast as I can. And there was my dad and mom. That was Dad just really giving Mom the only gift, right? Yeah, it's like, except instead of Mommy kissing Santa Claus, Mommy was being hurt by Santa Claus. I don't know what Santa Claus was doing, but it didn't seem like it was something the nice boys did. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I found out. It seems like walking in on your dad watching Empire's less impactful than walking in on your dad.
Little Magi
dick in your
seed.
mom.
Seed of the Magi.
Here you go, sir.
So Star Wars, that's very limited knowledge. I went and saw the one with Kylo Ren.
Episode 7.
Saw that in a movie theater with my son Oliver.
Like,
when did that come out?
4 years ago.
Yeah. So he was 6, 7. He was into it. I was into it. I was like, I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I knew, spoiler alerts, Luke is Darth Vader is his father.
Okay.
I did know that. And I knew that he and Leia were brother and sister. I didn't know if they I don't know. Because I thought they were love interests.
Well, I mean, that's certainly how it was portrayed in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning. But
He's a sick fuck.
Yeah, George Lucas was playing the long con on people. No doubt.
And it's interesting. I just started A New Hope, and it's interesting to hear or to see, how they kind of, because now I know everything.
Yeah.
So putting myself in the shoes of someone who doesn't know shit,
Yeah.
the backstory
Sure.
was kind of interesting. But how many people knew the backstory that went to go see Star Wars in the 70s? You know, how many people were hip to the books that could tell their friends?
Zero, because the books didn't exist yet. The movie was the first bit of the information of the.
Oh no!
Yeah, I
did not know that.
I think that I could be totally full of shit, but I'm pretty sure.
You were confident about it, and that's all that matters.
I believe you.
Yeah, I believe you.
I'm pretty certain that
me too.
Lucas made this movie. It was such a hit, and it became this this cult of personality. Where then there were extended fan fictions that eventually became canon, and so that's what always fascinated me about people about the staunch Star Wars fan from the beginning, the originals who just shit all over the prequels. I'm like, what are you basing your disappointment on? Like, what are they falling short on for you? What would make you happy?
Hey, get the fuck nothing.
Well, you're just not a child anymore.
You're an asshole.
They want to be a kid, and they have that I don't know, like that grand scale. You know what I mean? When you see that thing for the first time.
Yes,
that's what it is. And then now you're an adult, and life is shit on you, and then.
It's an awesome little thing that got shared on the internet a couple years ago. It was like a 6th grader that wrote this note to all the 6th graders are supposed to write notes to the incoming 6th grade class because it was like a change from the schools, And this one kid said, "You're going to get older and things are going to get lamer, except it's actually just you." And this is like some heavy shit for a 6th grader to lay. Like,
that's super heavy.
Jesus,
holy!
And I'm like, damn,
what the hell happened to that kid over
6th
grade? What'd you see, man?
Yeah, I've seen some shit.
He's got a cigarette and a beret on, just like.
Yeah,
you guys wouldn't fucking get it.
His friends started snapping fucking beatniks.
Fucking get it. We went Kerouac on everyone's ass for
no doubt.
4th grade.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you wanted to get into the Star Wars talk.
Because I think I love it because in the world we're in right now, we talk about psychedelics a lot, and I think the Force and the whole Jedi thing is super psychedelic. Just the Force, whether you can use it for good or for evil, and the choices you have, and the balance of the Force, and how we look at these people like Ram Dass and all these, and they kind of remind you of these Yoda type characters, where these people who are going to give you this grand knowledge and put it in such a way, present it to you. You talk about it all the time. You're always bringing people on your podcast that are just grabbing stuff from the ether and bringing it back to us and saying, "Hey, here's how I live a good life. Here's a tip, a lesson, a trick with the lightsaber that might be able to help you later on down the road." So I love that idea of it. And the first thing I started to notice from the very beginning was the Jedis were kind of bitches. Like, not bitches like, "Oh, you bitch," but like, "You got to do it this way."
They were dogmatic.
Right.
They were
I'm
dogmatic.
right, and this is the way it's got to be. And Anakin,
they're like absolute good.
They portrayed themselves as
and then they also say that only a Sith deals in absolutes. So it's they're so unaware. Yes. They're blissfully unaware of how absolute their existence is as well.
Yeah. And I like how they get called a religion a few times in the movies because I already started to think like this is kind of a cult religion.
They are. They're considered. They're considered holy warriors, or you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
And
are you watching it from the beginning? Like, are you watching it in the order they're released? Or
nope.
No, he watched them chronologically.
Ah, okay.
So I had seen episode 1, 2, 3. I went Solo, Rogue, A New Hope, and now I just started The Empire before Craig came over tonight. I just turned it on, passed out. I went and bought a fucking sound bar. Shout out to Polk Audio Signa 2.
New show sponsor.
Bad to the bone. Okay, I went and tested them all. And the Sony one sounded pretty good in the Polk Audio. I went with Polk Audio. It was a little cheaper, so I went and did that. It was great. It's great. Great upgrade. If you're going to watch these movies, they are visually stunning. They're masterpieces when it comes. And everyone, Jar Jar Binks honestly almost ruined the first movie for me.
Really?
And
Why?
I knew.
I've heard
Misa
that before.
do so good. It was It was like
because of everything that you've been led to believe about Jar Jar, and he's a wildly annoying character, right?
Yeah,
Empire's the best of all of them. Craig was telling me that. He goes, a lot of people think
most
Empire.
Star Wars fans think Empire's the best.
Okay, so Jar Jar Binks, the reason I hated him so much was I felt like there was a guy who was supposed to write Jar Jar's dialogue. And he's like, yeah, I'll get to it. You know, he's working on some other shit. He's like, oh, I'll get to it. And they're like, oh, you got his dialogue ready? And he's like, yeah, I got the whole dialect and everything. And
it was basically me.
It was exactly. And he's like, no, you would have come up with a language. This guy failed. Yeah. Like you would have been like, oh yeah, here's when you I before E except after J in this language. You know, you probably would have your own rules and shit.
I would think so.
Fucking he all he did was like, Misa go to bathroom in my panty. Yeah. Mr. Battle.
Yeah,
I'm like, this you're not even trying.
Well, the Gungan, like I actually like I'm a fan of the Gungans, but you're right, their dialect it's boring.
I love the names. Here's what I want to know: how deep does it get? There's so many aliens, so many planets, but even within that, there's so many ships and different modules. And just from my own pop culture references, those things that walk. Those things, you know, people would always have those big mechanical things.
The AT-ATs, yeah.
Oh, there he is, Scotty Cooper in the building.
Oh, Scotty Coops.
So the Millennium Falcon, I remember, and the Republic or the good guy ships that are like the X-wing looking things, and then the Imperial ones that are like those narrow ones.
Star Wars nails ships, and actually
they do that so cool.
With everybody shitting all over the prequels. I like as a kid when I watched it, like I said, I think 98, 99. You know, we had that came out, and visually nothing had ever been presented like that. Hey guys, we got a show going on here.
I was going to say something.
I know you were right.
Is your microphone on, Mike? Mike
are we interrupting?
Tried to sabotage the show. Scott Cooper just got here. I just want to tell Scott Cooper something. Come over here, buddy. Mike already tried.
Scott Cooper, nice to meet you.
Mike already tried to ruin the show once. Okay, so don't let him. I need you to keep an eye on that guy because he's, I think, working for the Russians. I don't know what.
So we were, like, for me in 1999, whenever that came out, there was not a sci-fi movie who had done what they did with special effects.
Yeah.
That was enough for me.
Yeah.
It's true.
It was.
That was enough. I don't care about the story. First off, I have no designs on what the story should be. And this is my recommendation to anybody who is into any kind of art out there that they feel like they've got this universe built in their head. Stop holding movie creators to your standards of what a movie should be and just go there and appreciate the 3 hours of entertainment that it is.
Yeah. Buying in.
Dude, expectations ruin it every time.
Expectations ruin everything.
You mentioned something, like kids have this like whimsy or you got to believe, like.
Well, you're naive.
Totally. Yeah. Before life is beating you down. But we can get there now. We're constantly trying to get back to the place. This little group we've created. I mean, Shane Moss was on the internet the other day going, I need to start a psychedelic group in each city that I go to just so people can have these groups and discussions. I'm like, this is the fucking greatest thing. We had someone come on our page the other day and say, what psychedelic should I start with? I'm dealing with, I want to get rid of trauma. The most profound thought to me is, how can I get out of this shitty train of thought or just, these patterns? It can be the most heart-melting, mind-numbing thing to think about, saying, oh my God, I can take this. And we had to take this, journey to try to figure some of this shit out that I think's maybe been holding me back forever. Like, what an amazing thing. So to have a page like that where we can do shit like that, and Shane Moss saying that that's the same thing, like, that's what it's all fucking about.
No doubt.
It's what it's all about. So when you suspend your disbelief or suspend your belief, then to buy into these movies, because it's campy. Like some of the lines is like,
have fun with the movie about random alien species.
Yes, I get pissed when movies take it too seriously. Like Walking Dead got way too serious for me, where they're like, man, everybody's fucking pretty serious. I'm like, where's Danny McBride with Channing Tatum as the Gimp? Where is that guy? Because there would be a guy like that in the end of the world who's like, motherfucker, I ain't got nobody to fucking, this, it'd be great, dude.
Shit.
Yes, dude, in a funny, comical kind of, don't take yourself so fucking seriously.
Yeah, you're here to be entertained.
Yeah, that's for sure. At least one insight.
Buy in,
right?
Yeah,
and that's what I'm telling you about life too. Like, if I have any advice, whatever you're doing, I have no idea on what to do. I just know that if you feel like doing it, buy fucking into the system. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. Yeah. You could have the best system of all time, but if you aren't bought in. It's an old cocky coach thing. The coaches at some point in the season be like, players, They're not buying in
the system.
They're not buying in. That's why you go on a three-game losing streak. They're like, guys ain't fucking buying in. I'm like, buying in?
You're going through the motions.
Yeah, they're just out there on a. They called it solo contracting for a while, and I was like, okay, I fucking get it. These guys think they have to do everything by themselves, but when you buy in, it's just a back thought, like the Force, that you know is just there, and you're channeling it, and you're depending on all these other people. I'm depending on you guys. I have no control over you guys, but my trust in you.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's true.
I question back and forth, whether or not you doing a theatrical release or doing, a chronological release. What's the better? Well, I probably would. My only reason is like.
I wanted to.
My only reason being is because I feel like you guys are killing me. I just feel like there were a lot of answers. Like, it's kind of slow moving through episode 1. It's a slow moving story. It's an origin story, and then but like the purists, the Star Wars purists, they pan Attack of the Clones and they pan Revenge of the Sith. And I
loved Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones is great.
Loved it.
Yeah,
it's great. You have arguably the best lightsaber fight scene.
Yoda.
Yoda fucking you find. So that's what I was gonna say. Is like what really made episode 2 great for me is like I've only known Yoda at this point, but yet from watching the theatrical releases, to be just this old, like you were saying, kind of a Buddha type character, an enlightened character that's just got all of the wisdom.
Yes.
But and you hear of like
none of the
tales of how great Yoda is as a saberman and things like that, and then finally you get this payoff where it's him versus Dooku, and Yoda's so badass that he doesn't just grab his lightsaber. He uses the Force to pull his lightsaber. And then he could come at you, but instead of coming at you, he's doing flips like a madman.
Spins and shit. Oh my god!
Like, how do you?
It's
hate
the
that?
most
It made
badass
the whole
shit.
movie for me.
Okay, and I'm a big guy. It's like fucking use the Force for everything. I'd be sitting there going, I'm fucking jerking off. With the Force come. You know what I mean? I feel like they underuse the Force,
no doubt.
But they're always talking. Maybe overusing the Force can lead you to the dark part of the Force. And if you're fucking jerking off, that might be the dark part of the Force. So
I think that's what they were talking about.
There's a sway. It's Catholicism. Jesus is watching you.
Masturbatory Force
exactly
use is strictly forbidden.
I thought so. They
It
covered
makes you
that.
a Sith. It makes you a Sith.
I'm a Sith Lord.
They covered
Guilty.
this from kindergarten through 8th grade of my
no
life.
wonder Anakin was all backed up. That dude was a bitch. He's all backed up.
All of the nuns, all of the priests.
Good nut?
Yeah, he did.
Well, that's the joke.
Once you got it.
They were trying to teach us this in Catholic school all along. Like they were like, don't, but they did it all wrong. They were like, don't touch your pee-pee or you're going to hell. If they would have said, hey, don't touch your pee-pee or you can't use the Force and be an awesome lightsaber user, I'd have been like, I'll never touch this fucking thing. Put it in a cage. Put it in a cage.
Put it in
You're not scaring me with hell.
Then I learned to love the
But
cage.
if you tell me that I can't do magic anymore because I use the Force to touch my pee-pee, then
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's like not positive reinforcement, but you're taking away something positive rather than giving punishment.
Totally.
Well, at least give him a story that he likes.
I'm not driven by negative consequences. I'm driven by positive consequences.
Yeah.
I'm doing things for rewards here.
Yeah.
If they would have came to me and said, "Hey, listen, if you don't jerk off, you have unlimited power. You're like the genie from Aladdin, just phenomenal cosmic power." I'm like, I'll never touch it. The first time you do, you fucking go right back into the lamp. First time you catch it.
How bad do you feel when you finally know?
I'm gonna test it.
Like, oh
I'm
man,
gonna test it.
I can't be a genie no more.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah,
Then
no.
your eyes turn yellow, your fucking legs are gone, you're fucking groveling on a fucking lava beach. Like,
Yes.
it's fucking fuck you up.
What Catholics taught me was shame was actually me just losing all of the Force out of me with that first ejaculatory episode.
I know.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm glad you're along for the journey.
No, I thought Attack of the Clones was awesome. What's episode 3? I forget the name of it right now, but that was fucking great. And I'm a
Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, that's
And people pan that, and I thought Sith was like a perfectly made movie.
I liked it.
My only bitch with Revenge of the Sith was how quickly they turned everything. It's like, you spend the first 2 episodes telling the slowest story ever.
How old is he?
19-ish, I think.
In the third one.
Yeah, like 19.
Oh, no. How old is he in the second one? 19.
Maybe he's 19 in the
Because they
second
said
one,
it's 10 years after.
Yeah,
Because he was
and
9, and then he was 19.
So he's
maybe
probably
like
like his 20s.
mid-20s.
Yeah.
So that would mean Vader is 40.
by the time New Hope rolls around.
5. Yeah.
Probably somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was trying to get a timeline because old dudes beat ass in this movie. Like
man
every
strength.
dude is like, I'm kind of fucking old. I just think I shit my pants. Then they get the lightsaber and they're like, ja!
Yeah.
All of them, dude. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how they doing that?
Because
shit,
they're
dude?
masters. Like they yeah, that's what's interesting is like Anakin's like, I'm physically better than all of you.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, go on with that. See how far that gets you.
I know.
See how far that gets you, you know? But like, the other thing is like all the old dudes are straight pimps in this movie. Like Mace Windu, of course Samuel L. Jackson has
I know.
a purple fucking lightsaber.
I
Of
know.
course he does. It probably says BMF
Purple
on the bottom
dildo.
of it. You know what I mean? And then Dooku's got like a pistol grip lightsaber. It's got like just a little bend to it. Yoda's fucking flipping around. Like all these dudes just got swagger.
Dude,
you know?
it's great. Their characters are that, and the casting in those movies. I'm a huge Natalie Portman, Natalie Portman, partner. I love her, and if they would have said in 2002, hey Steve-O, who do you think is going to be the sex symbol of the next 25 years? I'd been like, probably that motherfucking Hayden Christensen, man. That guy's fucking
Look at what happened.
dreamy.
He's a handsome man.
And he's kind of a bad boy.
Now, have you seen? You know, I can't think of much else he did except for Looper, which was awesome.
Looper's dope.
That movie is amazing.
Looper's great.
Yeah.
Looper's great.
No,
I think
Sam
it's got
Jackson's in that
Jackson
too.
Yeah, no doubt.
it's where he can teleport.
Teleport,
He can
he's
teleport.
He's like Nightcrawler, basically.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep, and he's going in those bank vaults and
I'd rob
shit.
banks.
Fuck yeah.
No,
I'd do
you
all kinds of
wouldn't. You're a
shit.
saint,
You're a
dude.
good
You're
guy.
a good
Not if
guy.
I had that power.
I'm just glad you're along for the journey, Steve-O, and I'm happy that you're content with it because it's like I feel like it's just so easy to shit on things.
Yeah.
That's where I find my comedy half the time.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm a blue comic. Like I like to bitch about things, but to be honest with you, like the Star Wars is like that's an escape from all of it. Like okay, we're gonna
No
have
doubt.
funny little aliens playing in bands and cantinas, and we're gonna race pod. Yeah, like you know, I don't need it to be fucking Shakespeare. I don't need Orwell to fucking to write this thing.
No, man, it's so good. It's action packed too. Like it's just. I keep thinking they're gonna build more story or do something that's not action, and they'll just keep
throw you into it,
hitting you with and a couple times I knew that a certain person wasn't gonna die, but I was like, shit, are they gonna get out of this? You know, and I love when movies make me
suck
second
you in, man.
guess that the good guy. I'm like, is the fucking good guy gonna? He's in this. He's in the other movie, but then you don't know how they're. Maybe they pull off something different. Maybe that was a flashback.
Oh yeah.
So I love movies that do that, and I thought A New Hope. I didn't know the Death Star was only around for one episode for people way back because the Death Star is kind of the of Rogue One, a huge portion of it, and shit, 2 and 3 of the first episode 2 and 3 they start bringing it up of when they're getting this energy and they're going to build.
It's like this constant overshadowing.
That it's coming, and it's weird that the Death Star, but I guess that's the idea of it. The Death Star was created to destroy these planets, and I think it destroyed one or two for sure, and it never wreaked havoc across all because Urso built that flaw in it. That old boy, I love that Obi-Wan was like in his head saying, "Dude, take that stupid camera or the spoiler alert, use the Force to drop those bombs down there." And I love it's like zoop, and they go right in there, and then it's just like
from the inside
and I'm like,
out.
the Death Star's gone just like that, dude. That had to take so long to build, dude.
And what's
it all comes
cool is
crumbling
like,
down.
and that's where there's like a separation from like at that point. Okay, the big evil has been, extinguished, and now we're gonna tell this story about the basically the last Jedi, quote unquote, who's Luke, and like, which that's that. So to go back to what I was saying, like the only thing about Revenge of the Sith is like the first 2 episodes, really, and all the way through halfway through the third one, it's slow storytelling, and then all of a sudden, like in the last 45 minutes, they're like, oh, and he's a bad guy now, and here's all the like, and you're like, whoa, there's got to be a little more nuance than this.
Totally.
That was my only beef with any of it.
I get that because at times I was like, I get where Anakin's coming from, and other times I just felt like, dude, you're being super manipulated
Yeah.
by both parties.
Yeah.
And you keep going, well, no, now there's a good guy. Well, no, now there's a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got to save Natalie
Yeah,
Portman.
you're the knot
but
in
now
the rope
I'm gonna
on-
kill her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, what a spoiler. It's gonna, you know,
I think
so
they got to come before.
So I kept going back and forth on him. I kept kind of liking him, kind of understanding where he's coming from, but kind of going, oh, you're fucking.
I'm just glad that you enjoy him. Because
I enjoy him.
I wonder if I would have went back in and watched them later on with
Yeah.
not having the magic that it was as a kid with the
Yeah.
originals, and then not having like my buddies' older siblings who were super into it, and you know, like I wonder how much it would be cool. But I think they hold up. I still watch them.
I loved it. I loved the New Hope. I was expecting it not to hold up, and I was like, shit holds up real nice. Like,
Yeah.
And the Vader scene at the end of Rogue One, or is it the end?
It's
of
the
3?
coolest scene in any Star Wars movie. I mean,
because
just
it's the beginning of New Hope too, kind of the same.
Yeah, Rogue One is moving kind of parallel
Yeah.
with New Hope. It's just a different set of people. And so when they show
He's chasing
Vader,
the plan.
which is especially cool because people still don't believe in the Force, right? Like at that point, you're just a what's the
Yeah,
word
they
I'm
believe
looking
now.
for? You know, you're into superstitions, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what they basically play it off as all along. It's like,
Charlatan.
charlatans and superstitious.
Yep.
But then like you realize that over on the other side of the galaxy,
dude.
there's still a dude
He
that wields the
walks
Force
in
like a motherfucker.
in a black door. They kind of hear him going, and it shows all the guys like, "Oh shit, what's going on?"
Shaking
And
like
then-
a dog shit
Then
in
he
peach
comes
seeds.
in the room and just goes, and the red lightsaber lights up. I'm like, shit, dude. Like I
Well,
love like when Captain America was behind the train in the second Avengers: Age of Ultron. I was like, motherfucker, that's how you drop a character on everyone's asshole right there. That's how you do it.
Well, that
man.
was the one thing that is, as much as the fans, and we'll move on from the Star Wars talk here pretty quick for anybody that's just totally put off by it, like we give a shit what you think. You know, one of the things is like even the people that didn't like the prequels or didn't like the newest ones that have come out, or went and saw Rogue One. Most people agree that Rogue One is like, at this point, I think a top 3 movie. It's a top 3 out of the saga.
Great movie.
And for me, the reason is that last scene. I'm like, holy! You could have cut out 2 hours of that movie, and if you would have given me that minute of Darth Vader laying waste, because we never really got to see Anakin be a bad motherfucker,
Yep.
and everybody fears Darth Vader, but we never really see that. And I mean, you see a little bit of it, but not too much. To see him fucking do it, like. One thing I think everybody has agreed on, whether they're just purists or new to the thing, is like that scene was actually, matter of fact, I think it was even more lost on people that are new to it. The purists were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I know.
They,
I thought so.
They did this in Rogue One. Like this doesn't even have anything to do with this. Like holy shit!
I know.
Like that's a dude. I remember.
Force come.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we just all lost our magic.
We're living on Hoth now.
That's why Vader was able to keep it. It burned off. It burned off. He couldn't even touch it anymore. He's a eunuch.
Dude, but the Vader scene was amazing, and the fact the Rogue One, I thought it was funny that they haven't quite figured out wireless technology. I don't think necessarily because they're like, we gotta get this file to the antenna.
Isn't that funny though?
To blast it up.
When you think about sci-fi movies and the way that like they thought that we were going to travel and the way that we. Like, flying cars are probably never going to be a thing because they won't have to be because we can just project our consciousness wherever we need to be and like our physical stuff doesn't have to be there. Like, it's amazing. Like all the communication, different, in Star Trek or whatever. Which it's also cool how sci-fi has progressed technology. Like people build technology based on what on what Asimov wrote in his novels and what Roddenberry created and what George Lucas created. Like nobody ever would have thought like a replicator from Star Trek was going to be this thing that can just make something out of nothing. Now I'm like, fuck that. That's actually more feasible than the teleporter is, or whatever. Like, it's really cool how sci-fi pushes actual science.
Yeah, it's interesting though. I was just watching the new Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
and like a lot of the technology is all relevant till today. Like back in the day when you used to watch it, it's like, oh, the stuff that's going to happen in the future. And then now it's like, oh, shit, man.
They're having a hard time thinking of what's like the next thing.
It's like all real life stuff. It's like drones and phones and different things.
Yeah.
It's like real life is caught up to all the sci-fi technology.
15 years ago when they were wearing masks and shit that, pulling that off. But even their technology, you're right. It's 100. Like now, we can't even imagine what shit they have, dude. The shit we know about.
Yeah.
Like they talk about
crazy.
with GPS satellites and being able to zoom in and get like these gigapixel pictures in China where like satellites
are
you can
nuts.
tell the color of someone's eyes.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Okay, they're letting us know they have that now. You don't think they've had that?
Oh,
And they
how
got
long do you
better
think
shit.
how long have they had
Come
that?
on.
Somewhere in a basement.
To build on that, I said exactly somewhere in a basement. I like it. That's exactly right.
It's so true.
So I said something along the lines of at that point, no sci-fi movie had been made that was just like that cool visually, and I just want to shout out our guy because he's 100% right. Except for the moon landing. The moon landing was definitely
A
much
great
more
sci-fi
believable.
film.
But even then, that was like black and white, right?
Yeah.
Like. Even then, even the moon landing wasn't as good of CGI.
The character building was shitty too.
No doubt. Give me
that
some
Buzz
more.
Aldrin?
Give me some more. Neil Armstrong.
Neil
Buzz
Armstrong.
Have you watched
Buzz.
First Man? I haven't watched that yet either.
I haven't watched it.
Anyway, hey, we're here with Adam Meredith, host of the Outside Perspective podcast. That was your Star Wars talk. I'm just super glad.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm into it though. So
like it.
mean, like, I don't know if you guys, Craig, are you?
I'm into it.
He's into it, folks,
into it.
so that's cool.
I'm into it.
But I think people who haven't watched it maybe are, seeing what I'm going through, and they're like, maybe I'll give it a try. So that's all.
I hope so. I hope so. I actually just because of our talk about possibly hosting a D&D game through.
Oh, we are.
We're totally doing it. Yeah, I say possibly just to make people think we're still.
We are
still
Do you want
thinking
in?
about it, but.
Maybe. How much time does it take? That's the
It's a time consuming
5,
deal.
6
but it's,
hours.
See, that's the thing, man. It's always the commitment. Is it just like a one-time 5 or 6? I don't understand.
Let's get real here, bro. It's gonna be 6 hours of your life that you'll never get back.
I don't know. I have a hard time committing to to like TV shows because of it.
You guys are getting close over there. I can't get far enough away.
There he is. He's creeping. Right. We have fun.
We have fun. That's what we do. You know what else? I had fun a couple weeks ago. I had fun with Adam a couple weeks ago.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we
I
had you
should
on
have
the
got
podcast.
off my clip because that was a great clip. You clipped off the lingering thing.
I linger.
I need to clip that.
Like 15 or 16 clips. I'm so
I bet.
Slowly let them go.
Kiss. Tiffany Jones wants us all to kiss. She's our sponsor. Yeah, I know. We got to do what she tells us. Oh, you want us to blow each other too, Tiffany? Because we already did it. Okay, you missed it. You missed it. That's classic. Okay, so were you going to go into our next little deal? Because that was a great segue before I blew it.
Well, just about.
When you were just like, and speaking of other things.
Speaking of other things that I had fun at Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these guys have both been on my show. Most recently was Craig. We sat down. We had a wonderful conversation. We had a glass of wine and
Some chocolates.
Some chocolates.
Dark chocolates.
That's hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
The oils came out, and I gave him a very nice massage.
I didn't get a massage.
You did not get a massage.
Yeah, why didn't I get a massage?
Because I don't like you. That's why. Look at the smile, dude. I love you, Steve. But look at this smile, dude.
See, I got a great smile, too. Go back on me. I got a great smile.
Okay. Adam, let's talk a little bit about your jam. Well, first off, I do
what's
want
your
to say
jam?
that one of our fans said something that I'm only going to
Steve's
repeat
gonna
it.
do it anyway.
I'm only going to repeat it
Everyone.
just
Fuck you,
because. Listen, Mike Lindner
What kind of
said,
show
"Can we
is
just
this?"
take a minute to?"
Mike, I love Mike.
I got a song called
also had Mike on the show.
Fuck You, Mike. Fuck You, Mike.
Where did you say quit holding this thing like
Can we talk about how Adam Meredith
that
is one
appropriate?
handsome sumbitch?
to hold this
Are we
like
still
this?
weird
Yeah,
voiced?
of course.
Are we good?
You weren't even weird voiced before.
That's stupid.
Your voice is just weird.
Stephen Holbert will not watch any of that nonsense. Mike Lindner says Rogue One is the best of the whole series. When I came out of that movie, I was like, "Yep, it is. It is the best." And then I was
You
like,
rewatch
"Okay."
it.
It was just a little too fresh on the brain. It is
It's on
really good.
Netflix right now, right? Rogue
I think
One?
so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Are you gonna watch all the spinoffs?
As soon as it comes off, like Disney Plus
Maybe.
will, I'll get into it. Now that Disney's got it, it's gonna get in. Anyway, let's talk about Adam. Let's talk about your show because it was kind of cool. Like, there's a lot of parallels going on here. Like, as we're landing our big fish, you're landing your big fish.
I know, dude. That's how the universe
You
works.
know, I would like to think that all of our fans have already come and subscribed to your podcast when we told them to a year ago when Steve and I sat in there and sat down in tandem with you and had a podcast. But in case they haven't, give people kind of an idea of what you're trying to talk about. What's your jam, man? Let people know.
Yeah, here's my elevator pitch. You guys ready for it?
Yep, let's go.
All right, look, because you always have to keep it short and simple, right? Man, I'm just sitting down with interesting humans like you guys and just having a conversation, trying to gain some perspective. That's it.
Fair enough.
That's it. That's what
And
I'm
he
doing.
does all of his podcasts outside.
All of them are in person. I'm just sitting down and just from all walks of life, like whether they're entrepreneurs, which was like my big fish was like an entrepreneur, but I would love to sit down with like Rick Doblin.
Sure.
Talk about
Never gonna happen,
psychedelics. It's totally going to happen.
Never gonna happen, bro.
Don't be a hater.
Not gonna happen. I won't go after your
dude.
fish.
But we're
You
just
stay
talking
out of
about
my
anything and
fucking
everything. You know what I mean? Just trying to have
You'll fish
conversations.
in your
trying to gain
fucking
some
pond over
perspective.
there. I'm gonna fish in mine now.
You're such a thoughtful guy. Like
guess
that's one
so.
thing Craig and I talk about. Like you have a podcast, and we hate anybody else who's doing anything of the like that we're doing. But we tolerate you because you're you seem like a nice guy, which is cool.
I'm okay. I'll choke you out.
Promise.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you trying to bone me up over here?
That's Craig's kink, and the only way I can come. You want to do some jujitsu? We can move these. We can. I took a class, bro. I took a class.
He took a class.
I studied half a semester at community college.
Nice.
Damn right. I thought so.
I'm surrounded by fucking experts here. Hey, actually, I was talking about a guy that you had on your podcast. I don't recall his name, but I saw a clip. I think maybe you shared it. But probably the coolest submission like I've ever seen in MMA. Like, it was really neat.
Oh yeah, that's my buddy Lucas Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he pulled off this ultra rare choke. It's called a buggy choke.
The buggy choke.
I'm petitioning to change the name to Claymore choke.
Okay.
To who?
Well, his name is Lucas Clay.
I know, but who are you petitioning?
It's kind of like Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, where you had to
the world, the world, Craig.
You had to address like a tribe of elders. They like a council of elders.
Yeah. So I'm not really.
And they turn out to be fucking dogmatic Jedi. They're like, no, it's a fucking buggy choke. Okay?
They're Jedi with fucking cauliflower ear.
Yeah, bro. Listen, we're changing the world right now. We need everybody to know.
It's true. No, it was such a. It's one of the things that's fascinating to me about grappling and about MMA in general. Like when somebody looks beat, because it looked like he was in a very
What is it? You
unfavorable
want to do it to me real
position.
quick?
I can't even do it, dude. I don't even.
Really?
I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
I've been choked in it before. It's not fun.
It's like he hooked his. Like he was on bottom.
He's on his bottom. The guy he's on side
Go
control.
on.
He's on his side. Yeah. They're sweaty.
Go on.
Dude, it's crazy.
Impetigo going around like crazy.
Yeah. I don't even-
Infant tigers.
I don't know what Lucas does, man. He just like wraps his legs in his arms, and he like.
Yeah, it's like
get
he
ready.
hooked his arm into his leg and it pinned the guy's chest underneath the guy's quad, underneath his own quad.
Jesus.
Yeah, the guy's
And just-
arm and head is here, and then Lucas's leg is here, and it's like a blood choke on both sides.
Yeah.
It's cutting off the blood on both
Those
sides.
take a
but-
lot quicker.
Huh? Is that no? A Kimura is it's like a
What is this,
shoulder.
Dragon
that's
Ball
a
Z?
shoulder lock. Yeah. This is a Kimura.
Break it.
And I could easily have gotten out of that if I wanted to.
Could have easily gotten it.
I'm fascinated when people kind of ask me, and I agree. Like I don't like to I don't like to put labels on
I'm watching you, funny man.
or anything that my friends are necessarily doing, but I feel like you've got if you're into the Joe Rogan podcast, you'll be into Adam Meredith's podcast because it's kind of a very similar
Similar format and
feel and like and also fields of expertise. So like a lot of you talk to some MMA guys, you talk to business guys, you talk to funny guys, you know.
Psychedelic talk and everything in between, doctors.
But it's got
scientists.
it's a more homey feel. Like it's I don't know.
Homie.
Very
What up,
conversational.
homie?
It's relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. You have a very relaxed vibe.
I do.
about you.
I was
put
Steve.
people
I
to
didn't tell Steve this. I even say it in the.
I wish you'd put me to sleep
while
Like, hold me in your
recording.
arms.
While recording with you, it was very strange in the first few minutes. was getting those nerves that I got with Dr.
nerves?
Matthew Johnson, but I didn't have with Doblin. Like I'm like, man, well, it's fucking Adam Meredith. Like relax, dude. You're just sitting in his living room, just chilling. I'm just trying to tell a fucking story, man. I'm just trying to tell a story.
I'm out of breath.
Okay, I'm a little juiced on the meat.
When is that going to drop?
I do have that. I do have that effect on people.
What
panties
did we talk
drop.
about? We talked about.
You got a girlfriend? You got a girlfriend.
I do have a girlfriend.
Dickhead. What'd you guys talk about? What can we expect, and when is this going to drop, and what can we expect you guys to talk about?
Let me pull up my phone. I'll tell you when it's going to drop.
I feel like it was like the 12th or the 21st or something.
No one really cares when it does. I was just trying to be nice.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all good. We
talked
about
people will listen to your podcast.
We
I'm
talked.
just saying none of our fans care
We
to
talked
hear
about
Craig
what
talk more.
I don't know if they could swallow any more content. It's like every day. Every day he tunes in.
People, how will people remember the Craig Band era?
What's that? Thursday the 19th.
Thursday the 19th. Set your calendar reminders.
It's episode 138.
Well, what you can do is you can go subscribe on any podcasting platform to the Outside Perspective.
Any platform that you would like. You can also go to youtube.com/outside perspective.
See?
Subscribe there. Or you can get on our reminder list. Go to outsideperspectivepodcast.com. Join our mailing list.
How about that?
Yeah.
Mailing list?
Dude, got it all.
He's got, like, his shit is way more together.
This is my own. This is my mindset lifestyle brand called Imposed Will.
I like that shit.
You can go to imposedwill.com and check out our full line
plug
of
it away,
apparel.
That's what we do here. That's why I mentioned it.
No doubt.
And the touch your tit. Hey.
Yeah, that was
I'm righty there. Can you hit me with Cathedral?
Yeah, of course.
I want to touch your balls.
That's what we do here.
That's actually the song. That song was sang to me in 7th grade.
It's a classic.
It lured me in. I was like a moth to the flame. Father Edward, what a lovely voice you have here carrying through the choral chambers.
Your hands are so gentle.
So gentle.
Okay, what'd you guys talk about? Because then maybe we'll get to that.
We talked about what I love to talk about the most. Steve.
Psychedelia?
We got a fair bit of that.
Do you think there's psychedelic
fair bit of
tinges in the Star Wars universe to go back there?
It definitely sparked the whole idea of it for sure.
Really? Is that what he says?
I don't know, but I
just
don't
think
doubt
that
it.
world and
I don't
stuff.
doubt it.
Also, is there like a Jesus thing? I don't want to keep harping on this, but is there a Jesus parallel to Luke?
Well, that archetype is like it's
everything.
It's in a ton of different stories.
Yeah, like a savior. I mean, sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just heard that before, and I was like,
But
you're gonna see those parallels in different.
What's interesting is like the savior began with Anakin. He was the chosen one.
Totally.
Right? And then didn't play out how they hoped to, so they got to move the goalposts. Kind of sound familiar, right? Like, this one didn't quite work out. So
next one.
Is there another one with the same name by chance? Is there another one that's got the same name? Anyway, anyway, yeah, and that archetype is absolutely cool. Played out.
Well, we can go back to it. So you guys talked about psychedelics.
Yeah, there's a book about that. Hero with 1,000 Faces. Talk about like the archetype.
You want to be my new
shows
co-host?
up
We can talk
over
about
and
books
over and
and
over.
stuff. And
I'm supposed to be from the chat right now, and I'm not. I'll kiss your comment.
We had an opportunity to talk a little psychedelia. We talked maybe just a little bit of cannabis.
Are you into it, psychedelics?
I would like to say that
I'm into it.
And he lost a feed. He's into losing the feed, apparently. Well, that's good. Something you don't usually talk about. I'm glad you.
What would you rather hear the story? I mean, it's like at this point, what does Craig have to offer other than just the weirdest shit he can come up with? You want to hear about CYC baseball? I actually got some pretty funny CYC baseball stories.
I love all your stories. That's why.
Well, I wanted to have the conversation about the psychedelic symposium, but I couldn't get you to sit still long enough to talk about it, so I had to have Craig introduce.
Oddly enough, I don't even think we covered the symposium even at all.
I just wanted him to feel bad.
I'm getting shat upon in my own basement. I don't like it. So fuck you guys.
You guys want to? Do you want to? Since we've got Adam here, and because we've both taken the opportunity to talk, we should probably do that. We should totally do that.
Say that? I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, do we want to? Because
segments,
each of us have taken the opportunity to talk cannabis and psychedelics on his show. Should we go into cannabis news and psychedelic news before the break and cover that with him a little?
No. Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, Mike, let's go to some weed and psychedelic news, brother.
Let's start off with the world's first psilocybin microdosing.
I saw that.
Let's do this thing out of order. This is actually a friend of the show, Mike Arnold, Silo Wellness. We've been having some conversations. We're going to have he and I think it's his chief, one of his chief officers who happens to be a doctor.
I see that.
Who happens to be a doctor. They have developed a psychedelic nasal spray, or not I wouldn't even call it a psychedelic nasal spray. It's a psilocybin nasal spray.
Is it microdosing?
With people that are with the I guess the buzzword going on right now is microdosing. This is probably a much more measurable and easy thing to kind of know what you're getting. Not to mention it's going straight into your nasal cavity, into the membrane, so it's probably a little faster acting.
It's hard to stick a mushroom up your nose.
Oh yeah, I bet super hard.
They'll grow
does
up
it
there too.
Does it cross the blood-brain barrier?
I believe it does.
better?
Yeah,
Is that what it does?
That's what they're saying. Following the FDA's designation of psilocybin or magic mushrooms as a breakthrough treatment in 2018 and the decriminalization of the psychedelic fungi in Denver, Colorado in 2019, a handful of entrepreneurs have begun preparing for a free market in which the medicine may be sold. Most recently, Oregon-based Silo Wellness has developed a psilocybin microdosing nasal spray. According to a press release, the company, which has roots in cannabis delivery modalities, developed the nasal spray for controlled metered dosing, consuming microdosing. The company predicts that new users will be drawn to experiment with small doses of the fungi before experiencing a full-blown trip. Can we pause there for a second?
Yeah, because you hate microdosing. I was just telling Adam about it.
I don't hate microdosing.
Well, I have two questions. Two questions.
Yeah.
One, what happens if you spray it up your butt?
Probably
Is
even
it
faster.
does it work better?
So I'm all about yeah. I think boofing is a very serious delivery method, but you should also be warned that it's typically like trebled. Like your medicine, your dose will hit you harder and faster.
Hard as hell. Someone's gonna do that for sure.
Ass
Two,
to nose.
why don't you like
ATN.
Yeah, it's the new thing.
why don't you like microdosing?
I'm into it.
Sorry, you gotta go back to that.
Okay. Mike, go and get us back on there. I don't hate microdosing. I just there's this new wave of people coming into psychedelics, and I think these questions are super important to have. Yeah. I think that microdosing is absolutely a good thing, inherently a good thing. I just don't feel like people's first experience with psychedelics should be a microdose. I feel as though what you do is you go and you see the magic. You eat the fucking medicine. You go and you see the magic and you see the craziness that it can all be. And then when you come back, then you can, as you microdose and you've been introduced to this, you can kind of tap into that medicine. I think that for people that suffer from anxiety and from a host of different things, an underwhelming dose or one that is not actually bending your reality, while they may still very much be good for your health, may have health benefits, as far as the mental, the change in
the breakthrough
thoughts and I feel like the breakthrough dose is necessary first.
We saw a movie where that was pretty much the crux of it. You mentioned it 10 times during the movie. Like, give this guy some. There was a lumberjack who. What were they giving him?
What they considered a breakthrough dose is 2.5 grams, essentially. But yeah,
and
they
this
had,
guy
they
laid
had
in a
an
chair
introductory dose of 1 gram,
Yeah.
and that's fine. And for some people, that is enough. That's fine.
And the first introductory was just to see how they would react
to it before they gave him a breakthrough dose. That's fine.
But he got nothing
with
from
what we know, and the fact that psilocybin, brace yourselves, cannabis advocates, is safer than literally any other medicinal compound that you can take, including cannabis.
It's anti-addictive.
It's anti-addictive. On top of that, it's also like the
I remember thinking
LD50 is even.
To shit.
Yeah, like
good,
why?
God bless him.
Why?
God
How?
Bless him.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
You know, so knowing that there presents no real physical harm, and knowing that you have two people that are sitting through this with you, this is in a completely safe environment, you know, give this fucking guy 4 or 5 grams.
Yeah.
Especially like because the protocol doesn't allow for them to like give them a third dose, and you're looking at someone who is desperate to feel whole and feel happy.
Yeah.
And nothing at all is helping him do that.
Yeah.
And if you've been a person who's had that true breakthrough dose, that heroic dose, that, the big dose on psilocybin or on whatever your medicine is, your chemical is, when you're that person or you've been that person, you've known that person, and you know what it's capable of doing for you, it is fucking heartbreaking to see someone underwhelmed by a dose that does not hit home with them.
That does suck too.
It sucks.
No, that's the thing. Because to play devil's advocate a little bit, we got into a conversation about this on our fan page, the Sophisticated Hoosiers, and I think it can go one of two ways. You can take a microdose your first time ever, and you can say, "Ooh, that wasn't that bad. I kind of got a little altered. Maybe I'll try a bigger dose next time." Or I think on some levels, people go, didn't work, just not for me. I only did 1 gram. I don't think you're necessarily going to be like, well, I better try 3 next time. And you don't want that to happen to somebody to say, oh, you didn't really let the medicine do its thing, let the medicine go. Yeah. So I think there's 2 ways. I don't think there's any one right way, but I definitely see where you're saying that if you are trying to deal with someone's trauma, and we say trauma is the original gateway drug. If you're trying to deal with someone's hardcore trauma that they have tried everything for,
don't underwhelm them.
Let's go ahead. They've tried every pharmaceutical in that movie, Magic Medicine. They tried every other pharmaceutical. They said no pharmaceuticals will work for these people. Now you can try mushrooms.
They all had treatment-resistant depression.
Yeah, treatment-resistant depression. So why not? And this guy's a fucking lumberjack. And I know you got to be clinical about it.
He keeps saying, yes. I want to be better.
Yes.
I want to see.
He was there, and he's like, I guess. And with someone with no knowledge of it, says, I guess that medicine just didn't work for me either. Lump it in with all the benzos.
Now all of a sudden, like this holy special chemical that for some people, for many people, is like a gateway to God or whatever you want to.
You've lumped it in with pharmaceuticals
for this great source power or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now it's tossed in with fucking benzos and SSRIs.
Yep.
Like,
just shit that didn't work. Just a list of shit that didn't work for me.
Chemical. So listen, my subjective experience is certainly not enough to say what's right or wrong. A lot of people are coming to this because of the idea of microdosing. So, but also, what I feel like is very clear from maybe a blimp perspective is that is still people letting fear dictate their experience. One of the big, and I'm not just talking about dictate their psychedelic experience, their life experience. Like if you talk to anybody that doesn't have the psychedelic experience, and then they learn about microdosing. Well, all of a sudden they're like, oh, that seems much more palatable. Well, it is. But guess what? The breakthrough, the mental breakthrough, the things that you're going to fix require you to face ugly shit sometimes. And that's just something you gotta and that doesn't just apply to psychedelic medicine. It applies to everything in your life. We grow through conflict. We grow by being challenged, not by being comfortable. And so, what all I want is, listen, we should absolutely have microdosing modalities, different ways to administer this medicine and to bring it to more people. I think that some medicine is better than no medicine, but I also think that we should be aware with some chemicals that that's not necessarily the case. Like with an MDMA, I think Rick Doblin told us, it's actually probably more, they found the opposite to be true where those things exacerbate anxieties and they make people
a lighter dose.
Once again, my subjective experience does not make for somebody else's perfect scenario, and I can't make that clear enough. I just feel like the way we need to be thinking about it and bringing people in, and it's hard. It's hard to give people we live in a world of memes and 30-second sound clips that make our news, right? And so the quicker you can break something down to make it more palatable for people, that's better. But the conversation is more nuanced than that. How deep do you want to go? How damaged are you actually?
Yeah.
Because personally, I don't think there's very little to suggest that microdosing is going to fix hardwired mental illness and hardwired.
It's more for creativity.
Totally.
Well, that's the thing, though. I think Paul Stamets was just talking about a recent study on microdosing. Did you hear him talk about that?
I know he's got microdose.me and he's trying to
well, he was talking about where they took some mice and like they introduced trauma to them, right? And then they did it where they gave a group of mice like a heroic dose and then and then just like a blast off dose and then like a microdose. And then they how many go-arounds or how many cycles they tested, how many cycles does it take for the mice to get over the trauma? And they found that I think it was like 2 or 3 cycles for microdosing compared to like 5 or 6.
Really?
Yeah, for like a full on. And this is something he was just talking about.
Interesting.
So I'm a little conflicted right now because like him talking about that, and he's obviously such like a respected guy, and like he knows his shit. So it's like I need to do some more research on it. But I see your point, and I think that's valid because
we're all learning right now.
And it doesn't matter like how deep is your trauma? You know what I mean? Or
I think that's a big part of it. I adore Paul Stamets. When I saw,
and I probably just butchered that.
No, I think you're probably. I mean, there's
good
probably
study.
something
He had
to
the
it.
entire thing backwards.
Well, and even he talked about it on his most recent podcast.
Yeah,
with Rogan.
that's what he's talking about.
He's patenting essentially his stack, which is psilocybin coupled with lion's mane coupled with niacin. It's not coupled, but tripled, I guess. So the stack.
Feud.
So like all of them act on the niacin basically like inflames the myelin sheath. The lion's mane grows the tips, and then the psilocybin, essentially brings the action all the way out to the tip. And I might have that all, but the stack works in conjunction with one another.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the science behind it. There's also this kind of thing, like as it's becoming more and more popular. Joe even asked, Paul, who he thought who was what was responsible for this big thing. And everybody right now is like giving all of the credit to Michael Pollan, and God bless Michael Pollan for writing the book. I get it. Like it's made it more palatable. It's a New York Times
he's an
bestseller.
amazing author.
He's a great
so.
author, and I'm down to give him as much credit as possible. But there are people that have been doing actual, real, big time work that are much bigger and cover a much bigger span than his solo subjective experiences. And I feel like if you are a respectful or a mindful user of these chemicals, or like, the one thing that you come back with is that like my subjective experience is not everybody else's. So you have to leave a giant delta of possibilities for every's thing.
Yeah.
Because
it's a different part of the universe, learning about a different part of the universe.
I had kind of an understanding about my past few DMT experiences, where like at first the world was kind of it was chaotic and the walls weren't quite solid. But every time that I've done it since, like everything is a little bit more static. And now, like, I have become an architect of this space in this other place that exists. And the walls and the characters that are in it, they're not just fleeting. Like, they're becoming more and more familiar every time I go there.
Oh, yeah.
Follow that down the rabbit hole, though.
It's a crazy feeling. You feel like you're home, right? When you get there.
I
it's
100% do.
It's like, oh, yeah, how did I forget all of this?
Well, have you heard the theory that when artists and singers talk about home in their songs, like that's always heaven, and it's like this interconnected network between artists where they say, so if you ever listen to songs that have home, like Honey, I'm Going Home, all this stuff, it always usually correlates to death. And if a lot of artists will use university and college and school as the metaphor for life. And it's like this underground thing that all these artists kind of know with each other. And I was like, oh, shit, that's crazy.
Right on.
The fear thing. I don't want people, especially myself, what I've learned over the years is fear is not the same as nerves.
It's not.
No, a healthy respect, you need to have that.
Yes.
If you're not, I've said that plenty of times.
Yes.
If you're not feeling a little bit nervous before you do DMT, even no matter how many times you've done it, like
palms a little sweaty,
you probably don't need to be
rate.
doing DMT so much if you're not feeling those nerves.
Totally,
oh, dude.
Like, so that's one thing I don't want. Learn yourself. Learn what. Because when we have to talk before we go, when we did that last thing, I'm like, whew, I can feel the blood moving. But it's totally different than me being scared of something. It's like, hey, you want a little extra shot of energy, which I don't need, but for this event, your body's going to put you through that because you've been trying so hard for this.
Care.
You've been putting exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're going through these things and fear, know that fear. How much trauma was based in fear? How much of that trauma came from, I'm so scared right now. I'm so scared of loss.
Yeah.
I'm so scared of pain. I'm so scared of all this shit.
That's that trauma locking itself into
right.
your neurons.
Becoming
hey,
who you are.
Snakes are bad. You got fucking bit by one, caveman.
Yeah.
Lock that shit in, okay? So, and then it's like, okay, I got to deal with the shit that, like they always talk about snakes and spiders. Those people who are like super scared of them. And then when they hold one, that it's like this fucking a psychedelic experience that they're getting a breakthrough that like
they're handling their fear.
Yes.
They're handling their fear.
Yeah.
They're actually handle your
fears.
fears.
There's such a big, there's such a message in that. And it's like, there's been yogis and people have said this forever. Like you can be afraid, but you are not your fear. You are not your feelings. You're not your happiness. You're not your
thoughts.
You're not your thoughts either. You are experiencing those things. And so with me, like I would much rather tell people, okay, hey, you can try the microdosing route. That's great. I don't know what's going to work for you. That's fine. Or
pussy.
Or you can eat the fucking medicine. But before you do that, here's what I'd like you to understand. Like if someone said, hey, could you give me some advice for my first trip? I said, sure can. Right now, the person that's standing in front of me is 100% physiologically safe. Yeah. Nothing is going to happen to this meat suit, to this body by taking this chemical.
Yeah.
Unless I murder.
Right. Unless I fucking stab you for not eating the full dose.
Okay. I'll eat it.
I'll eat all of it then. Crazy
Dude,
guy.
I got this tub.
Yeah, great. So I would say that, and then I would say now the chances of you seeing, imagine what the worst and scariest thing you can possibly imagine is. Okay.
Take us back to the chat.
Now, imagine what that thing is, and then maybe multiply it by 10, and that might not even cover how scary of something you see is. But if you're having this conversation with yourself before you go into this journey, you can train your conscious and subconscious mind to know that this is just something you need to see, you need to accept, and you need to work through. And if you do that, if you're able to do that, if you're able to tell yourself that I'm okay, this is scary, I love you, I'm sorry, I surrender to this, whatever you're showing me, you will move through that. Almost everybody that I know who's ever had just a hard, challenging experience, they've all said, until I stopped fighting that thing that was scary in there and said, fuck, okay, this is what it is, I submit. When you humble yourself before the medicine, you'll move through it. And so, for me, like,
you're buying in.
You're buying the fuck in.
You're buying
in. It's Revenge of the Sith. God damn it!
It all comes full circle.
Well, let's do a little bit of the weed stuff.
Well, real quick. Just because of how this ties in.
Okay, real quick.
I love our product and can't wait until it's legal in the United States so we can share it with crime victims and first responders, said Silo Wellness founder Mike Arnold. We're totally on it. Because the fungi remains federally illegal in the United States, nasal sprays developed in Jamaica, where mushrooms are legal.
Yeah, man.
Team was led by Missouri pharmacologist, our buddy Parag Bhatt, and company COO and Marine combat veteran Scott Slade. Before taking volunteer testimonials and private microdose sessions, the team members tested nasal spray on themselves. Long before Arnold was inventing method of consuming small doses of psychedelic substance, he worked as a high-profile criminal defense attorney, shifted his attention to psilocybin shortly before Missouri legalized medical marijuana.
Damn.
So he's a Missouri guy.
Hell yeah.
We've had conversations with Mike, conversations
this
that
is
pumped
huge,
me
guys.
up. This is big. So like I wanted to throw just kind of a little bit of a wrench in just like our idea of microdosing, whether or not it's good or not. This is positive. This is positive momentum going forward. And it's coming primarily from a lot of Missouri contributors. I'm proud as fuck to be from my home state.
Doubt,
because chances are after Oregon, after the cities that have decriminalized, they really want to try and bring this here to the homeland, to the heartland, and I hope that
the motherland.
I'm fucking excited.
Should be excited,
dude. I'm excited.
And here's the deal: I'm all about microdosing. I would love to be, but guess what? I've also fucking put myself in some fucking tight fucking spots.
Has some challenging experiences.
So, but I feel like now, I'm just now I can by taking it, I microdosing. The idea is to not shift your reality. Like you said, it's going to make you, maybe it's going to give you a little bit more. There's guys that train for kickboxing and stuff on
sure.
microdosing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's
Silicon
artists
Valley,
that are
all
taking
those
Silicon
guys.
Valley, like
Yeah.
you're at a competitive disadvantage
Yeah.
if your coding team is not microdosing.
Yeah. It's true.
I mean, that's the reality of the situation. So, like, I don't want to say that there's not benefits to microdosing. I'm just very apprehensive about someone's first experience with psychedelics being a microdose.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's totally fair.
Yeah, because you're kind of shortchanging yourself.
You are. You're selling the experience. It'd be like if
Yeah.
I said, Adam, I've got a key, buddy, and if you can prepare yourself for it, I'm going to show you God.
You could
and you're
feel-
like, well, that's cool. I just got some binoculars if you don't mind me peeking in on it from over here. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
you can.
Well, I
he's
think
actually open to you
It's
asking any
human
question.
nature to check the fucking keyhole.
I get it.
Though. It's
Yeah.
human nature to take a little peek
I get
in the
it.
keyhole.
Well, here's the thing: you could feel it and not know it because you're not experienced.
That's right.
Right.
That's the other thing. Yes.
Oh, I don't feel anything. It's like, are you sure, dude?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No doubt.
Because maybe you did, and you just didn't know what you were.
I've
feeling.
had that
No
relationship with chemicals in the past as well. Like I didn't know what to feel.
Like you had to
Yes.
go too far to understand, like what's the come up like?
I would love for my dad to experience it. He has dementia and depression, but I think he would be game. I think he would be a good candidate for micro to moderate dosing. It would be great to see him experience a little different way of thinking. I would love to see some
Right on.
studies done on
I'll tell you what,
dementia.
Stamets actually talks about that on Rogan's podcast too. Because
Yeah.
right before his dad died, his dad had told him that he wanted to do psilocybin with him. This was some touching shit, man, because I would have loved to have done it with my dad too. You know, and I also kind of know that my dad had psychedelic experiences. So it's like I just want to do it with my dad because I felt like what a great way to bond and also take away some of this anxiety. You know, but for people that have never done, like Paul Stamets, he told his dad no.
Yeah.
And he was like, my dad was a hardworking guy. You know, very kind of by the book.
Christian,
And
didn't wanna, like, mess up
he goes,
this
I
whole
didn't
archetype."
want to fucking change his whole idea of happiness and the world. Like he was so scared of his dad thinking his whole life was a lie right at the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's a fair.
That's a
fear.
that's a fair fear.
Yeah,
That's a fair fear because the last thing I don't want.
I don't know
my
if that's his
impression-
decision to make, though.
I don't know if. It's
Well, I agree.
either. That's
I
the
agree.
thing.
His dad
I think he
outwardly
should have done it.
you know what? I think that's the conversation I would have had. Dad, here's my apprehension. This is the story.
Yeah.
Like this is the deal. I would love to give this to you, but I'm in my fear for a minute. I'm afraid that I'm going to take away everything that meant anything to you, and and not give you enough time to explore this other great thing.
Yeah.
So having had to watch a dad die through a terminal illness, like I get it. Luckily I know my I think a big part of who my dad was and the way that he was able to put things into words was because in the 70s he had those experiences, but that was so far removed from him by the time he got sick.
Yeah.
Like by that point, okay,
Yeah.
you're not a kid
Yeah.
anymore. Because that's all it was, right? Like
Yeah.
back in the day, it was
it's
pot and
been fun with
psychedelics was
kids.
just something we
Yeah.
did for
Silly
fun,
shit.
and it
Yeah.
was wild. But like,
Yeah.
all right, guys, that's great and all, but you
over.
got to
There's an expiration date on that, right?
You got to get a family, you got to get benefits, you got to do your thing, like,
Yeah.
and so
401k.
we've talked about that with when I asked my dad if he wanted to be read his last rites, and he's like, well, I think it's just kind of what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I don't know. I feel like I got a theory. The medicine would. The medicine
Gently?
knows what to do.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
the
agree with
medicine.
that.
I don't know if the medicine would blow a person away like that because with all those studies that they've actually done with cancer victims or
Yeah.
End of
or
life.
just
The
terminal
end of life, yeah.
It's not like any of them were like, fuck, I believed in Jesus and fucking the.
Oh, I think Stamets says
the-
that
the
he regrets.
elf
I think
guy.
Stamets
Does
says he
he? Okay.
regrets
He
his
wish he
decision.
would've.
He
Yeah.
wish he
Oh,
would've.
Yeah.
I gotta listen to that.
Because I think you're right. To your point, you're not thinking about all the shit in the past. You're thinking about the next thing.
That's
Yeah.
Right. That's the most unknown right there.
No doubt.
Well, and straight up, like I might only be 35 years old, but like I don't fear death. Now, talk to me again in 30, 40 years. When it gets a little bit closer, I still like to think that I've got a pretty good handle on this thing. And if I have my way, and like watching guys like Timothy Leary and Ram Dass, Dying to Know, great documentary if you haven't checked it out, like great end of life stuff. But like the whole idea of being able to die with dignity, die with grace, like it doesn't have to be this whole spectacle of sadness. Like it's just the end of this chapter, and it doesn't. My consciousness doesn't cease because I'm no longer here to say it. Like it's just now it's just becomes a part of your conscience.
Yeah, it's sad though the ripple effect your death would have. Like all your family would be devastated.
Well,
I'd be ecstatic.
But that's just
I'm sure Mike would probably cry or something.
Oh, actually, he'd be like, "Fuck yeah, I get a seat at the table. Seat at the table." Fucking, he's what's his name? Latimer from fucking the program. He's like, "Start your defense, place at the table," and he puts his hands on the fucking windshield. Yeah.
They had to take out the scene where they laid down on the road because kids did it.
Oh, what the
fucking stupid shit all the time. Should we do the cannabis thing real quick or come back with that?
You tell me.
Let's go to the cannabis thing real quick. It's just a real quick thing, and then we'll go to break. They just gave us the timeline. Scroll down until we get to the timeline. That's kind of all people want to know. All eyes are on the timeline. I know. Keep going down. Keep going down. You'll see it.
There we go. Right there. There it is. Go up. All right.
So tracking facilities, approximately December 19th. Transportation facilities, December 23rd. Cultivation facilities, December 25th. Infused products.
26th, day after Christmas.
26. Okay, day after Christmas. And then dispensaries are the 24th of January. Seed to sale tracking. Shit. January 21st. And those guys seem like they got a lot to fucking deal with.
Everything back. Everything
it's
is back
6 weeks.
A month, essentially.
Yeah, and I think they still hit their 150-day deadline for most of it. Are they going to?
Well, I think that was, I think so. I think they will hit that.
They're right there.
But it does take us out of spring, products being available in the spring of 2020. And it's going to push it pretty well into summer.
Yeah.
And man, I had Kohler family Christmas, and I had an uncle who's been in an accident, and he's lost use of his arm. He had fucking nerve severed, and he's desperate, man. He's tried stem cells. He's tried all kinds of shit, man. You should have heard him talk. He's like, I got to find out more about this CRISPR. I watched this unnatural selection thing, and I'm like, he goes, they tell me they want to cut it off. He's like, I'll regrow this arm. And I said, I've never been so proud to fucking be related to somebody in my life. Let's regrow you a fucking arm. But the point is like these people don't have time. Like he does. He's not terminal, but there are kids that are terminal. There are people with cancer that are terminal. Like every time we push it back a fucking couple weeks, I know. Listen, I understand we want to do things the right way. I get all of that.
It's not fentanyl that we have to do all these regulations. Like, well, make sure it doesn't get into the wrong hands. Everything is bullshit because of lies and prohibition and all this shit. So that's where the frustration. I understand. It's the fisting analogy. You know what I mean? You're getting fisted and you follow the arm, and it's your own arm that's been fisting you this whole time. So who are you going to blame? You know what I mean? We've made all the rules against pot, and now we're trying to ratify the rules.
We didn't. That's what
humans.
Well, and actually, yeah.
But it's only like a handful that made those
That's
rules.
the problem.
No doubt, with like an agenda.
Did the people do Amendment 2? Yeah. Or did fucking 10 guys sit down and fucking write it? That's just how the shit go.
But you know what? Like, I think, we had a choice of three different bills.
That's true.
And the will of the public, it was they were pretty able to look at this. Listen, I get you. I understand all of that. And what's frustrating, you brought something up. This is not fentanyl we're trying to get past here.
Yes.
For the last 20 minutes, you've heard us talk about two chemicals that have no known LD50. You could not possibly kill yourself on these. And also, they're not addictive. And we're still beating our fucking heads against the wall on this. We're not telling you guys anything. You get it. I know you're just as frustrated. We're just bringing you the news. Don't come at me.
Yeah, don't get fucking mad at us.
Get mad at us. We didn't make the goddamn timeline.
Jesus Christ Almighty.
Listen, let's jump to break for a minute. We'll come back on the other side.
Let's see what happens.
Let's just get weird.
We'll just see what happens.
I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
Hoosier Sophisticate, guys. Stick around.
Hey everybody, I'm just making this post as a little public service announcement. I recently had a roof leak, and I got online and called the #RoofBoys. They showed up and they didn't have a truck. They came out of the woods near my home, which was odd. When they showed up, I'm pretty sure they were children. The little one was aggressive. He was beating on my garage. He was shirtless and had a tattoo that said Bug Life. And the older one didn't have a ladder and said he would climb my roof by getting on the pillar, and he was slapping a spatula around, which I don't know what a spatula does for roofing. So if you want a reputable roofer, I recommend you go to Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, located in Webster Groves. They've been around since 2005, and they're grown men.
you take our insurance, and are you cannabis friendly?
Yeah.
And they all said no. And then at that last phone call, that 8th phone call, I was like, do you know anybody that is? I'm desperate. I've called 7 other people. You're my 8th phone call.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm crying my eyes out. And this lady just felt bad for me and said, hold on, let me call you back in a few minutes. And they called me back, and they said that they would take him, but under a certain amount of conditions. And the main condition was that if they felt that cannabis was not working for him, then they would take him from us and put him in and Child Protective Services, and then they would take the other 2 kids too.
Oh,
because they were both underage.
Then
and we would be charged with child endangerment.
So they'd go to federal prison.
Yeah, we would go to federal prison. So we said, bring him on.
James Carlton. Insurance 314-961-4800. Handsome. Amazing. Astonishing. Astounding. Fabulous. Incredible. Fantastical. Phenomenal. Prodigious. Stupendous. Unbelievable. Wondrous. Divine. Fantastical. No, seriously, he's fantastical. You got a house. Go on and get it insured. You got a car. You gotta get it insured. You got a life. Go on and get it insured. CarltonInsurance.net. Fantastical. Stupendous. Fantastic.
Come to Privilege, I got good price.
This is one of the best Cubans. I try a Cuban everywhere I go. And this is one of the best damn Cubans I've ever had. And we've got a little white cheddar mac here with a little cracker mac. Life-changing, incendiary.
Everywhere I go, I try the Cuban. This time I didn't. I got the grilled cheese bacon burger.
Look at that thing.
With put some pepper jack on there, some jalapenos. And we got some crinkle fries. And all I can say is, oh baby, grow baby.
As you can see, this was once a delicious plate of coconut scrimps, and I devoured it. And if I had to say, if I had to give a review real quick, I'd say it's an orgasmic feast of the senses.
And I love meat.
Mike.
Come on,
Mike. I miss Seth. Just kidding. Fuck that guy. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to do something on the show, and we haven't done it in a minute.
Mike, you're also awesome to chat with.
Yes.
But we're going to put old Adam Meredith
in the hot seat.
Hot seat.
All right. Animal. Best animal. If there's a royal rumble of animals and they all fought, which one comes out on top?
Oh my goodness. On earth, on land?
This is the hot seat,
Well, there's
baby.
actually there's a
pit of water and
there's
land.
A bit of water. There's a huge fucking coliseum, Adam.
Huge coliseum.
Yeah,
there's a
don't
bit of
have
water.
time. This is
giant squid.
That's a great pick. It's a great pick.
That's a great
It's
pick.
a great pick because the giant squid's big enough that
get
it can
out.
come. Yes,
Get
and
out.
you know what? Then it's dragging big animals into the water. They're drowning. I like that pick.
Fucking
All right,
shit
I like
You're
that
up.
pick.
You're up, Craig.
All right. If you were a car, what kind of car would you be?
Tesla.
What is the?
Because I'm lame.
What is the title of the movie or book of your life?
The title of my life?
Yeah. If there was a movie made about you,
The
what's it
title
called?
of my life. I like that. That was good. It's kind of meta.
Is that your answer?
What's your answer?
Outside perspective.
Oh,
Okay. And who would narrate that movie?
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, God damn it!
What song you want played at your funeral?
I don't care. I don't want. I don't want a funeral.
I'm never gonna die. Never dying.
Tricks on you guys.
There's actually that's a little tune. There's a guy named
He's a vampire who's 700 years
There's a
old.
guy who wrote an album called Ayahuasca. It's the Welcome to the Medicine or no, Welcome to the Work is what it's called. Ayahuasca, Welcome to the Work, and there's a little song like I don't wanna die. So that's what we're gonna play at your funeral.
I like that song Rooster.
Alice in Chains?
Yeah.
I listened to that this morning in the
fucking
shower.
nice.
It's a great tune.
Let's do that one.
Oh,
You're speaking Scotty Coops
Okay.
language. He's a big house.
Everybody's
Round of applause. Holy shit.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I got one. You're on death row, and you've got a final meal. What's your meal?
Golly, man. I don't know what you want to have.
You're gonna leave it up to the guards, like,
No.
you want to share this with me?
You know what? I always wondered, does it matter? You're about to die.
Oh, yeah.
What do you need to eat?
What am I eating?
Yeah, what's the matter?
Whatever's gonna make me shit the most. I'm eating chili. I'm eating burritos. I'm
probably gonna have
fucking their life up.
I'm probably gonna have like a big ass like grass fed steak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Elk strap or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. What you got one, Steve?
Bucket list destination where you got to go before you die. Either an event or a place.
I need to go do ayahuasca in Peru.
Okay. All right. I like
One
it.
more?
I like it. Yeah. What was the one I had there?
Kind of dog would you be if you were a dog breed?
Oh yeah, if you were a dog breed.
Husky.
Oh, that's a good one. I like a little husky.
You're lean.
One of
things are
the
wolves,
one of
bro.
the hard. Okay, so
All dogs
one
are
of the
wolves,
deeper ones.
bro.
Those are closer though.
Maybe in depth. What was the best day of your life?
That's such a hard one, right?
And it doesn't, it
'Cause
doesn't
it's
have
all
to be. It
relative.
doesn't have to be your kids
Today?
or whatever. But like if you had a day that it just
Today?
all kind of came together.
Everything's just like it was honestly one of, so I feel like it always just keeps like there's always a lot of good days, right?
Yeah.
So which ones like stick out? There's one that sticks out probably in like 2015 where just like years and years of like hard work where everything was coming together on that day. But like most recently I was like, what's happening now? And it was like that big interview with Andy Frisella. Like
Right on.
that was a huge interview for the show. That was a guy I've been wanting to sit down with for a long time, and everything went perfectly.
Who is this guy?
Who is Andy Frisella?
Tell our audience who he is and why this is such a big deal.
So for me, I mean, he's just a huge entrepreneur. He owns like 7 or 8 companies.
He's got a huge online following.
Huge online following.
Huge.
#1 business podcast in the world for like 14 months straight. Just a huge guy in his space and just like an all-around winner. And I like to be around people.
I think a
like
lot of local people would maybe recognize Supplement Superstore.
Supplement Superstores, First Form. He owns both of those brands. MF CEO Project, which is just huge podcast. Yeah. So I mean, he's just.
Where's he from?
He's
St.
from
Louis.
here.
He's a Vianney guy.
Yeah.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
He's one of the guys that slipped through the cracks when they were.
But dude, it's just like one of those things, man.
CBC.
I put his name on my vision board and I started the podcast. And then you're sitting down with him, and then you want it to go well. You don't want to fuck. You don't want to freeze. You don't want to lose your train of thought. You
want to ask a 9-part question,
right?
Like Craig did in his first interview with the John Hopkins.
Exactly. And you want it to flow, and everything just flowed. And then then after the fact, when he was like, dude, he's like outside of, sitting down with Ed Milet and maybe even like Lewis Howes, which both of those guys are also huge in the entrepreneurship space. Like that was the best interview ever. I'm like, fucking great.
What'd you get from him? What kind of gems he lay on you?
Huh?
Your
Gems for what?
Just like what was your favorite part of that podcast?
My favorite part of the podcast, for me, dude, it was less about like what we talked about and more about the feeling. So I like to do these in person because I want that connection, and I could feel the connection. And the fact that when we were talking, he talked to me like as an equal. And for somebody who's like working as an entrepreneur and trying to build my own shit, and I'm working for that, for that life. You know what I mean? That like that remarkable life. When you're around somebody on that level who's where you want to be and you feel like an equal, it was just like the most like reassuring thing and like motivating thing.
But it's weird, right? Because it's always strange to me how, and it's awesome how things tend to happen at the same like in parallel realities. So like you're getting your big interview the same week we're getting our big interview, and my takeaway was the exact same thing. Where Rick Doblin, I wasn't nervous talking to him, and being in person is it does make all the difference.
You can feel it.
But on the flip side of that, when I was talking to the Johns Hopkins guy, and it was a much more, we had the time constraints of terrestrial radio, and so I'm like, I got too many questions for this guy that I want to answer.
People on
like
the phone is dog shit.
And you're trying not to step all over one another, and but with Rick, that wasn't there at all. Like, there's not this air of I'm fucking Rick Doblin. It's
You're
more
fucked
like
Rick Doblin. You fucked Rick Doblin.
Weird.
Stay tuned for the bonus footage. Like there was never this thing where it was like where Rick Doblin was like he felt like he projected bigger than us, and we watched the same thing happen in Michigan where. We were always like, God, you almost feel like you're putting a guy like that out because everybody wants a piece of his time. Yeah. But he was the one extending the conversations. And so, like, it's amazing. And I think that's something that you'll see with people that are successful in their field. A guy like Andy Frisella, they want to see other people. They realize that the universe is abundant and there is room for all of us
we can all succeed.
To succeed with our own voices.
Oh, yeah.
And there is nothing that is more empowering than that. Than seeing somebody who is in that stage that is maybe your 5-year vision on your dream board. Like he's been living it, you know, like he's gotten to that point, but he's still got time to come back and talk to the guys and like, hey, here's a hand up, come on up with me.
Man.
Like that's a huge deal.
He's just super
a guy that's got a huge following like that, like for a podcaster, we understand the value of likes and shares. Like the people have no idea.
And he pumped your tires a little bit too.
Dude, it's been rocket fuel for the show, dude. And he was like, man, if there's anybody you want to sit down with, like, let me know. I'm like, okay. I'm going to let you know a lot of people.
No doubt. That's the deal. And that's the realization. And like, I think that's what's really, we talked about, like having a sports podcast is tough. Like it's great because it's easy to boost content and share it because we're not talking about anything that Facebook doesn't approve of or but at the same time, like, I'm losing my train of thought here. Like the idea, like somebody taking the time to click subscribe on a podcast, to like a podcast, to follow, like, I don't even care if you listen to it. People have no idea the monetary value that's
just the
that's
number
attached to the number. And I wish it wasn't that way. I wish that we got paid on the depth of our content. I wish that's how it worked. Steve and I have conversations about this all the time. Talking about cannabis, there's kind of a quick hitter way to reach a bunch of people that gets around the algorithms, and that's kind of appealing to the Cheech and Chong culture. God bless those guys for everything they've done, but it's kind of a lowest common denominator content, like where you're doing monster dabs and you got girls in bikinis. The world needs that content. It's clear that works the best.
There's a place for that for sure.
It works the best to get to the most people the quickest way, but like it is a conflict.
That's where Steve comes in.
Exactly. Like I'll work on a video for days, weeks, and I'm like, this is a fucking masterpiece.
People have no idea the amount of work that goes into it.
7 likes, 8 likes,
so much.
I'll put a video of a dog like doing one of those ass rub things, and people are like, "It's the fucking funniest shit."
Shared
I'm I'm like, oh, my life is a fucking travesty.
I'm a fucking joke to you. I'm not even a good enough joke to you to share.
I do it. We do it for us anyway.
That's the deal.
So much work goes into it.
I love this shit.
But I mean, that's, I want to,
who's your next big get?
Yeah.
The next one?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You don't know yet?
I mean, I have a list of several big people that I want to sit
So
down
like
with.
he was the pinnacle of the people, or up towards the top.
Yeah.
Right?
So here's the thing. This is what I did. I just put a short 3-person list of the top 3 people in St. Louis. Not the top people of like all like. I mean, I have a whole list of people that I want to sit down with
that he wants to murder.
But I put the top 3 people in St. Louis, and I put him at the top because obviously he has such a huge following in the podcast, and I love his message in either way. So I still have one person left on that list here in St. Louis, which is Sean Stevenson. He's another huge like health and wellness podcast called The Model Health Show. And then for St. Louis, because there's still people all over the country, like Ed Milet, I would love to sit down with him. Jesse Itzler, just tons of different people. But for St. Louis, it's probably like Tyron Woodley.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean,
hell yeah.
Oh, I would love to hear
He seems awesome.
I know Tyron, like I have some connections to him. I'm not going to say like we're like best friends or anything like that, but I feel hopefully I can get his ass to sit down with
Hell
me.
yeah. Is he fighting right now, or is he?
Yeah, he's training. He's
okay.
fighting, yep.
Is he still?
Yep.
I wasn't sure.
Yep. So I've had his performance coach on my show, Ben Newman. He's another big guy. He's like top 50 speaker in the world. Damn. And I mean, he used to train at our gym. I've trained with Tyron back in the day. So I mean, there's some familiarity. Like we know who each other are. I don't know what the right word is.
We know who each other is.
Yeah. We know each other, but I just need to get his ass.
The thing I love about your podcast is you're a positive guy, and you get all these awesome people, and it's not just like, hey, man, tell me all your good stuff, and you just kind of sit back. It's such a nice give and take. What are some of the things that you remember from some of the episodes that you're like, wow, that stuck with me, what that guy said? You got anything like that, or who's your favorite? Me or Craig is really what I'm getting to.
Oh, gosh. He's
Who's
gonna put me on the spot right now.
He can't hear you.
He's gonna put me on the spot.
If you look at me, he can't hear you.
It's all right. Craig's
If I just look at
it's
you.
all right, Craig. It's all right. I get it. Craig's better. I was moving a lot, I guess. Sorry.
It's different, though, right? Because you guys are like night and day. So Craig and I had much more in-depth conversation and less like dick jokes. And me and you were just being silly the whole time.
I was thoroughly entertained by your two's podcast.
I had a great time.
Shut up.
I'm not being a dick.
Dude, it felt so good. Here's the thing, though. It was so great because I got to sit down with you after meeting your fucking man crush.
Yeah.
And, like, you guys had some awesome times, and he slept on your couch.
I was fucking bragging the whole fucking
Right?
podcast like a jack.
And then I got to sit down with Craig after he just had an in-depth conversation with his number one. So it's
I'm really
you guys
glad
at the best times of your life.
I'm actually really glad that it played out the way that it did, because I wanted Steve to tell the story so I knew what not to tell.
Yeah.
Because we could stay on Michigan for 4 hours, and like if it was all my story to tell, maybe we'll write the fucking book one day. We'll write the movie. It's not all my story to tell. Like that's I'm always uncomfortable when we're cataloging experiences of putting people in it that maybe don't want the story to be told. So like you're kind of wrestling with the idea of telling a story but not kind of giving all the details so that they might be incriminating or whatever.
We'll all go to jail if we tell all of the facts of the story.
We can't tell the facts of life. And we just recorded arguably my favorite podcast in Kansas City a couple weeks. Me, you, and Mike, and my buddy Luke, Gospel of Luke. You guys stay tuned. There's a second feed, but tomorrow it'll populate in all of your Hoosier Sophisticate feeds. So wherever you follow our podcast, it's 3 hours that are worth your time. If you guys want to get deep into psychedelic talk and into personal,
I loved it.
Personal.
And usually I listen to our shit and I'm like, Steve, shut the fuck up.
Oh, I'm the same way.
Dude.
Like I'm the same way. Like,
Yeah.
As soon as this show wraps, no matter how much you guys laugh or love it, I'm gonna look at all these guys and be like, well, that was dog shit.
Could have been better.
That's me every time. And Steve's like, I was feeling really good about it. I'm like, yeah, well, sleep on it. It was garbage.
Then he calls me and I say, he's like, I listened to it. I laughed pretty hard.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. But my initial reaction is like, dog shit.
Just someone kill me now.
Nobody wants to listen to this.
All right, how do we get to your podcast? What do we do? What do we got to do? We got the weatherman coming up after this next break. So tell our fans how to.
You can go to every platform, all of them. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. But definitely go to YouTube and subscribe. Definitely go to the OutsidePerspectivePodcast.com and get on the mailing list.
Impose Will?
Yeah, go to ImposedWill.com and check out the full line of apparel there as well.
This is our guy. This is one of the guys who's helping bring about positive change in the St. Louis area, and hopefully we'll follow this guy to a global till he's doing his podcast in Peru.
Yeah, and if he doesn't give us a fucking hand up, I'm taking his knees out.
Yeah, I like when Craig always says
we're all
pump
on
each
the
other's
same
tires
mission.
up.
Dude,
I
we're
love
on the
that.
same mission.
Yeah,
really
totally. So it's great. I thank you so much for coming here. I hope you stick around for the end of the show. We got the weatherman, some other shit coming up, streaming picks. But I just want to say thank you and go follow Outside Perspective, the podcast. It's fucking good
awesome.
conversations
Great content,
with
man.
good ass people.
Yeah,
and you're way more respectful of our time than we are of yours. Everything's nice and tight. Like inside of an hour, we're like, you're gonna fucking hang here for 2 hours. We'll eventually ask you some questions. About
he lives here now.
I'm good with it. Also, follow me on Instagram, Adam Meredith _.
Adam Meredith _
I hate social media.
Well, you know what? Like
follow me.
But follow me, please.
If I was smart about like maybe potentially using social media, I had buddies who were like on that shit. Like 10 years ago, they were like, look, if you're not using Facebook ads right now, it's sorely undervalued. This is where it was at to be like a Google paid ad in the beginning. Like, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't really have a business to promote. But had I at least been forward thinking to marry all of my socials names, so I just had them straight across the board, that would have been awful nice. But you know,
Cosmic Cockslinger was taken.
Cosmic Cockslinger 56 wasn't though. So
55 of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, 55 of them Jedi. All right.
Okay, we had a fan write a song called.
There's a little backstory, right? Like Steve had an unfortunate episode on a back road. Clipped a little.
My buddy was driving a truck and we ran over a cat and it started screaming. I was in like a not a blackout drunk, but just asleep from drunk. And I woke up to this and I was like, what the fuck? And I got all hammered on my birthday, and I guess it's still fucking sitting heavy with me.
Somewhere in
I told
his
my
deep
buddy,
subconscious.
Dennis Nettinger, and he wrote one of the greatest pieces of music to the tale of Steve and Mr. Kitty. So we're gonna listen to that before we're gonna go. I guess we go to a break after that. Or
Yeah,
just
we'll do that, and then we'll come back with the weather,
Yep.
and then we'll do this thing, guys. Adam
you guys in a
Meredith,
minute.
Outside Perspective. Go check it out.
What is happening?
This is the first time Steve is hearing this song, and I hope that you.
Can
all
I hear
will,
it?
I hope that you all will enjoy it as much as I did. Mike, you might want to make sure that your microphone is turned off as we rock this, and here we go. No, turn it on.
Heroic tale of Mr. Kitty and the big bad truck that tried to end his days.
Steve killed a cat who felt the thump and heard a splat. Driving down that narrow country road. The cat, he wasn't dead. Then they took the robot to his head. Mr. Kitty won't purr anymore.
Kitty, get ready, Kitty out of luck. Kitty got hit with a big bad truck. Now don't you step on that country road, yeah. 'Cause Mr. Kitty, if you do the like the fat, you like the toad. Kitty had family, Kitty had friends. No one gave a shit when they hit his rear end. Now don't you step on that country road, yeah. 'Cause Mr. Kitty, if you do the like the fat, you like the toad.
Take it away, me. Mr. Kitty on the
What's in the road?
Watch out, there's a cat!
greatest song in the history of songs.
When Mr. Kitty died, he didn't go to heaven. Cats have 9 lives, he was on number 7. Mr. Kitty woke up and went on his merry way.
Steve didn't kill the cat. Mr. Kitty was saved from that. Big truck driving down that country road.
I want to turn off the show just a second. What the hell is going on here?
The kitty sent him on his way. Cause everyone knows the cats are evil. Demon spawns that were sent by the devil. Dogs are man's best friend anyway.
This was a song for Mr. Kitty, licking his tail, looking oh so pretty. Watch out, boy, the big truck's on its way.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. See, we got Friday the 13th, y'all. Well, if anybody is, what do they call that? Superstitious. If anybody's superstitious, you might want to stay inside. That's my day. High 49, little sun, and then it's going to get cloudy as fuck. In the afternoon, it's going to be up 5 to 10 miles per hour, a low of 45 with occasional shower. I'm going to give it about a 40% chance of rain. Saturday, high of 45, a little cloudy, 10 to 15 miles per hour, and a low of 25. That is my forecast for the week. Remember, you don't get Sunday. Listen here, Weatherman Mike. I'm going to need you to repeat what Monday through Wednesday was because you had no sound.
Oh, okay. So Monday through Wednesday, no sound. Let's go ahead and backtrack that for a second. Monday, the 9th, low of 23, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Winds, I don't know. I can't remember what I said. Tuesday, the 10th, high of 45, sunny, 5 to 10, low 29. We got some winds coming out of the southwest, light and variable. Thursday, oh, did I skip a day? Hey, it's there. And maybe I'll come at you tomorrow. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But again, you know, Sunday, who knows? It's too far away. So that's
okay, Weatherman Mike. We love your weather, but what we love more is the way that you move.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I like the way you move. Dun-dun-dun. You didn't master the moves last week, so let's try again this week, fella.
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it, dude. Woo! It's him. It's him. Okay, he's good. He's good. Hey Hoosiers and Hoosierettes, have you ever been to Maplewood? Well, I have. And I went to CBD Cannabis Boutique and Dispensary. Oh look, there's the good Dr. Tiffany Jones. She is literally the greatest human being on earth. CBD
Canvas Boutique and Dispensary are holistic pioneers in the CBD oil, CBD flower, and hemp marketplace. Canvas Boutique and Dispensary provides the St. Louis and surrounding communities with the highest quality CBD products available, including organic CBD oil cartridges, CBD gummies, CBD tea, and other CBD edibles. People ask us all the time,
where can I get some CBD? My bones hurt.
Well, you know what? Go ahead and check out cbdcanvas.com. They have an amazing website with all the information on there. Hoosier Sophisticate loves CBD Canvas Boutique and Dispensary. Carve it in a tree. Actually, don't. I think that hurts the tree. Get your CBD. Make me feel better.
James Carlton. James Carlton. James Carlton. You gotta get your insurance. Gotta get that State Farm insurance.
You think you found the best insurance agent in the game? Well, I got news for you. I did, and it's James Carlton. State Farm. CarltonInsurance.net. Lifetime Jill. Lifetime Jill. Lifetime Jill.
Let's go Google.
I've been getting storm damage. I've been getting estimates. I've been getting door hangers. I've been getting my dreams shattered around
Every
me.
time I go to Google, I check out reviews. All those 5-star ratings make me wanna go with you. Please, oh Lifetime, please, will you let me be your boo? I just want you to fill me with that precious, precious knowledge. Precious knowledge. Most knowledgeable roofers in the game. They got 5-star reviews. They got 5-star reviews. Yeah.
Hey girl, where you wanna go?
I don't care, I just love you.
Are you hungry? Do you wanna get something to eat?
I don't care, I'm kinda hungry.
Well, what sounds good?
Anything sounds good, you pick.
How about some Mexican?
No, I had that for lunch yesterday.
How about we get some Italian food?
Ew.
Okay, now you're not saying anything and just giving me a
want
look.
something delicious.
What does that even mean?
I want to sit outside.
Applebee's, son?
Applebee's
No,
is
Applebee's.
gross. I'm
Applebee's
not
is
eating
good.
Applebee's.
I don't know why you're always
Applebee's
fries
fries are
Applebee's.
disgusting.
Applebee's is one of my
They're
favorite darn
gross.
places to go ever.
I'm not eating Applebee's.
I wanna go to Truman's. Let's go to Truman's. Lord, go to Truman's. I wanna go to Truman's. It's Lord, take me to Truman's. We agree on Truman's. I agree on Truman's. I love Truman's. Lord, Truman, Truman, Truman,
You didn't have to hit the transition fade button yet. Could have let it. It's all right. He's
Shut up, you idiot.
Thank you. You get it. Hey, guys. Welcome back to Hoosier Sophisticate, live from the CBD Canvas Boutique and Dispensary Studios.
If you need some CBD, just enter code 420.
Hoosier 420.
Do that.
At checkout. Enter code Hoosier 420.
420.
At
Hoosier.
CBDcanvas.com.
Fuck.
Have you done this before?
CBDcanvas.com.
Heaven.
Hoosier 420 at checkout. You're going to get 20% off your entire order site wide. It's a smoking deal. They make these studios possible. Canvas Boutique and Dispensary.
Canvas Boutique and Dispensary. CBD Canvas Boutique and Dispensary.
That was fun.
I was going to do the Stream Picks of the Week song with it, but I figured...
Let's do it. Let's do that. Yeah, okay. Use as much as we can. Come on. We don't fucking pay $13 a year for this for nothing.
Not a year. A lifetime.
Ooh.
Speaking of which, if you guys have any damage to your roof, there's been a lot of wind lately. There's this little place, and you just need to go Google it. It's called Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. They do James Hardy boards siding. Okay,
they do.
It's the best siding you're ever going to get. They're going to come out. They're going to give you a free estimate. Your roof's probably fucked up from all the weather. Go hit up Lifetime.
Your roof's
Roofing.
fucked.
It's fucked. It's totally fucked.
Well, fuck you, Mother Nature.
Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. Just go Google it.
Have we let that screen go at all yet?
Yeah, we did in the beginning. Steve just worked on it very hard.
What?
Okay.
You saw that.
Adam, we do this fun thing.
Well, what
every
about
week.
James Carlton and shit? Are you not going to name them? James Carlton's one of my
Okay.
greatest
I'm
people.
glad you brought it up.
That
I'm glad
is
you brought it up
epitome of
because
all
what
that
I did
man.
was I stood outside of the palatial James Carlton State Farm offices. Okay. And I said I was outside.
I said, James Carlton? James Carlton, could you please come out here? I need to talk to you about some insurance.
Now most people would have been.
Why were you on a bullhorn outside of his place?
Oh, because I needed to have words with him. He's going to come to me. I'm not coming to his turf.
Gratuitous.
I'm not coming to his. I'm not coming out to his turf. I'm bringing him on my turf.
Good negotiation strategy.
Okay, exactly.
Into the office
I was like a hostage negotiator.
Excuse me, sir. I have questions about insurance, and I would like you to answer them. Yeah.
Anywho, so I actually did go over to our sponsor James Carlton this morning. I had a chance to sit down with him. Steve, you're not going to believe this shit. He saved me money again, and now I have a disability clause on my insurance. If something happens, like I sprain my dick, and I'm put out of commission.
It's no problem.
I've got an insurance policy on it now.
Sprain dick.
Actually, it was hilarious because he was like, we just talk
Don't
about
fuck on the stairs.
We talk about marketing going forward and everything. He's like, I love what you guys are doing. By the way, what are you guys doing? And we're like, well, James, we just kind of do anything we want to with your name. You sponsor the.
We said you were better than Jesus.
Yeah, we actually did. I actually superimposed James's photo on Jesus,
said, which worked well for John Lennon and the Beatles when he did.
Totally.
We said a lot of things about that.
We wish
guy
he was
that
our
I'm
dad.
not sure. Yeah.
We do wish he was our dad. Listen, in all honesty, 314-961-4800. Give him a shot at your business. And here's the thing. This guy's not going to blow smoke, okay? If he can't save you money, he'll tell you what the better deal is.
He will.
I think at one point he said, hey, I can't compete with that price. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
I think that happened with you originally, right?
Yep.
And
he
then
said, I can't.
He
then
called
he called
you
me back
a few months
and said,
later.
Got it beat.
Guess what?
Son.
We can beat it now, kid.
Yeah.
It's
like, don't call me kid.
Yeah, we can beat it now, kid. You're Daisy if you do.
You guys are great.
We like movies, so do we. You like internet, so do we. It's the streaming picks of the week. Netflix. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too.
What are you watching this week, Steve-O?
I watched, obviously, Star Wars has been in the foreground, but we turned on, Jenny, Kristen, her friend Kristen, and I turned on Magic for Humans, which he had an episode before.
Yeah,
really good show.
Yeah,
Just funny,
good little street magician.
Magician who's also kind of a little bit.
Oh, he's funny. Yeah, for sure.
But he takes it to a new level, and he has an episode about his
his mom having dementia, and it is fucking touching. We were all weeping at the end of it. And then another episode he has with these kids, they get Christmas presents, and this is a spoiler, so don't listen to this. But he's got these Christmas presents, and they tell the kids, they go, "Hey," and do you guys want to hear this, or do you guys want to watch it? Okay.
Tell me.
And he goes, "I'm not gonna tell anyone." He goes, "You can. This is a magic box. Whatever you want in this box, you can have." So he's got a present on a table, and he's pulling out an Xbox. He's pulling out games. He's pulling out stuff. Well, he goes, "This is a magic box. You can get something for someone else if you want." What do you think your mom or dad would like? One kid was like, "My dad would like Beats headphones." And I'm like, "Good kid." And then the other kid's like shoes. One of the kids was like a blow dryer, just all this
blow
stuff.
job. Daddy wants a blow job. Can you make that happen? He's like, "God, I gotta push up the sleeves." He's like, "Come here, dude."
My dad wants.
Him. It was weird. It was a good magic trick.
My
though.
dad wants Amanita muscaria. Big old thing of it.
My dad says he likes something called DMT.
Yeah. He opens the box and it's a portal.
Yeah.
He's like, "Here you go, kiddo. Climb in."
Kid climbs in.
Okay, so they get the kid the shit for the parents, and they say, he tells them, he goes, "Well, now you can get it back to the Xbox thing, or you can keep it for your parent." And they're like, they're just going through this like, dude, why? And then eventually all of them except one was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give it to my mom." And I was just like, dude,
Kids
it was
are great.
touching.
Kids are great.
And one kid at the end's like, "Nah, I'll take that Minecraft thing."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Good for him too, by the way.
I know.
That's a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory thing, right? Like
totally.
the everlasting gobstopper. Like, give it back, you get the fucking keys.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So it's a very heartwarming. Jenny and I ugly cried to it. Very
Cool.
much. She
I like
pretty
anything
cried,
you
I
can ugly cry to.
Yeah.
What are you
watching,
watching,
Adam?
So the girlfriend and I have been watching Scandal.
I am.
What is that?
Unfamiliar with Scandal. I mean, I know it's a big
Is it like
thing.
a primetime show?
Listen, now I will preface by saying that I did not choose this show.
What is it on?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
But it's like an ABC show or something.
Okay.
It's about who's the actress? Kerry Washington. She's a fixer for the White House. So shit goes down. They call her. She fixes it.
She spins the story. Huh?
And I think her character is actually based off somebody who had like that same position in the Bush administration, I do believe. It's some interesting shit though.
Okay. You
Yeah.
recommend it? Good to watch with your significant other?
Sure, yeah, if you're into it.
Here's
the thing, but here's the
Hey,
so it's
girlfriend, he
listen
fucking
up,
hates
gal.
it. You're torturing
Listen
him.
up, gal.
Here's the thing, though.
There's bountiful material online.
If you like the political stuff, you know what I mean, and like the inner
If
workings
politics
of
are
stuff.
your jam, if you're into House of Cards, you
House
probably
of Cards
like
is great.
Yeah.
He said enough. You don't have to backtrack. She's gonna watch this and get
But
it. You'll
that's what
never
we've
have to
been
watch
watching.
another episode of Scandal again, buddy.
She's like, guess what? Guess what you just earned yourself, pal? Scandal
Night of
marathon.
Scandal.
That's what we've been watching though.
Saturdays are for Scandal.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go home and watch an episode of Scandal Friday.
Yeah,
I'm into it though.
Yeah, right on, right on.
I'm into it.
All right, here's
Craig,
the
what
deal.
have you been doing?
Scotty Coop said he had one. Mike, did you have one?
Yeah, I'm rewatching Gotham.
Ooh, Gotham's a good one.
Okay.
I just finished Gotham.
The only Scandal I like
It's
is
great.
Is it tied in? So,
I
like
missed
with
it.
all of the DC shows, like Flash and all that, is Gotham in the same universe? Like, or is
I think that follows
Smallville
on the DC
and all of that, like
comics.
Smallville. I mean, I know that.
I
but
don't
mean,
know if it's in that
Scandal
same.
be
I don't think it's
Are they-
because
do the
it's
characters
all
overlap?
when
Because I know
There's
like
no-
Smallville
it's all when
and
Bruce
Flash
Wayne
do.
was a kid, you know. So this was
Gotcha.
when.
Okay, I'm with you.
It's like a whole alternate.
I'm with you. All right, Scotty Coops, what do you got, bub?
All right, boys. I watched this movie on Amazon Prime called Under the Silver Lake.
Okay.
And let me just do the synopsis. It's Sam Andrew Garfield is a disenchanted 33-year-old who discovers a mysterious woman, Sarah, frolicking in his apartment swimming pool.
Synopsis
When she vanishes, Sam embarks on a surreal quest across Los Angeles to code the secret behind her disappearance, leading him into the murkiest depths of mystery, scandal, and conspiracy in the city of LA.
He wrote that.
Andrew Garfield?
Yes, it's really good.
I like
that's
Andrew
why that's
Garfield.
why I was like I can't explain it because it was just a crazy movie.
Okay.
People died and
recommend
disappeared.
Yes.
Okay.
Right
I'm
on.
in under the Silver Lake. Is that what you said?
Yes, it
It's
kind of
just-
has like a
it's
Big
suspenseful?
Lebowski feel to it.
Camp
Okay.
Crystal Lake.
I'm with that.
Camp Crystal Lake. Any relation?
Sure.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Sure.
It's Jason.
Silver Lake, my town,
So
Highland.
remember last week?
Go fishing there, Steve.
I will go fishing right now.
Remember last week I was reeling. I had a pick and I lost it
and you're like
beforehand.
the brothers.
Yeah, well, Guardian Brothers. It was great. It's fine. But this pick is the shit. If you're into music documentaries at all, Yeah. This is cool. And then it also played in to some big shit. I talked about a funeral a couple of weeks ago that I went to, and hearing a song for the first time. We've been watching Schitt's Creek. P.S. I want to see Mike dance to something that he wants to dance to.
What did you want to
Listen,
dance to,
there's a
Mike?
shortage of Cuban music, Tiffany. We don't play Cuban music on this
Cuban
show.
Pete?
He's like, I'm Colombian Pete.
Puerto Rican, yo.
Colombian Pete.
So, okay, so I had this. I told you about the funeral. I was sitting there. They played the song to start it out.
Yeah, the
and
Birds.
It was the Birds.
Yeah.
And the song was "To Everything." And I'm like, oh shit! I've never listened to that song with any kind of weight attached to it. And then I was, it was my buddy's dad's funeral, and this was a song that he wanted people to hear. It's like, hey, this is just the season, man. It keeps on going. The world keeps spinning. So I'm hearing that. I flip on this Echo in the Canyon. Okay, it's on Netflix. And Echo in the Canyon talks about this movement that takes place. I think it's Laurel Canyon is what it's called. It's just outside of Hollywood.
Okay.
And the Beach Boys were kind of hanging out there, but it was where like all of the folk
It's like in like a hillside.
so like
isn't
where
it?
all of the
Yeah.
folk singers were hanging out, right? And it's basically a story about the Birds. And like before the Birds, like so what was really cool about it, the guitarist for the Birds heard like I Want to Hold Your Hand, okay, from the Beatles. And he took that kind of same riff, and then he started playing around with it. He actually went to the folk clubs, and he did like a cover of I Want to Hold Your Hand. People were pissed because they were like, this isn't where rock, this is where folk's at. And so anyway, he kind of he kept doing it. Like, fuck it. I like this. This is cool. This is something different. And then, dude, all of the contributors, Stephen Stills, David Crosby, Tom Petty, it carries along. The whole thing it follows Jacob Dylan. Jacob Dylan is kind of trying to get all of the history about it. Brian Wilson comes in from the Beach Boys. And then in between them kind of telling the story of this folk rock movement, in between there are these live sets of Jacob Dylan and friends doing all of these different Birds covers and
awesome.
Beach Boys covers and, Crosby, Stills, Nash.
Is it just
and
one
Young,
movie or is it like a series?
It's one movie. It's a documentary, but it was really cool to kind of hear, because like David Crosby says, he's like, the rock and roll music doesn't have, didn't really have like heavy lyrics at the time. It was all very poppy and bubblegum, and the folk singers were the ones that were writing the fucking lyrics, but it wasn't getting played on any kind of radio. So the Birds were kind of the bridge. I had no idea.
It's kind of now, man.
I had no idea how it's completely now. It's how it's always.
You're not
gonna be.
hearing the Avits words on the radio.
It
You're
comes
hearing
down to the
fucking
30-second, like it's the 30-second
Kesha or something,
soundbite
even though
culture.
I'm like,
It's
oh,
the
fuck, you're
it's
down
the
with
dabs
Kesha.
in a bikini culture.
Yeah.
And
They don't.
Do they
don't
know?
respect you.
Do they know?
They don't respect you.
I'm gonna throw something here.
Scott just has a voice that carries.
It carries. It's booming.
It carries.
Sucking. It was really cool though. there was
Mike.
There was this really
Shut it
great. There was this really great scene where he's talking about how Brian Wilson's talking about with the Beach Boys that he'd heard Rubber Soul, and it was so impactful for him listening to the Beatles' Rubber Soul for the first time that he went home and he fucking started Pet Sounds. He wrote Pet Sounds, which is, pound for pound considered one of the greatest one of the best albums ever made. And then what's interesting about that is then the Beatles heard Pet Sounds and they were so inspired by it, they made Sgt. Pepper's.
God damn.
So it's like this
man.
awesome relationship back and forth. And then it was just the timing of it was crazy because I hadn't thought about the Birds in forever, hadn't thought about that song in forever, and how big of a role that played, how big of a role the Birds played in kind of changing, the weight of rock music. Like, hey guys, with these cool riffs, we can actually put like meaningful lyrics to it. Super cool, man. Echo in the Canyon. It's worth checking out. Tom Petty's still alive, in it. Like he's a major contributor to it. And then all of the covers that Jacob Dylan does. Fiona Apple comes out and does a couple of Bird songs with him. Nora Jones is on there.
Hell yeah,
dude, it's fucking killer. Echo in the Canyon. Check it out. It's a pick that I think everybody watching this will dig. They can all it's on Netflix.
Dig it. Love that pick, man.
Yep, I'm watching.
What a show.
We had a good time.
What a
buddy.
show. I had a great time.
Great.
Wax poetic.
Thanks, man.
With our buddy Adam Meredith. He brings out the best in us.
You guys are the best. I love you
Steve
both.
was the best. Just tell him he was the best so
You're
we
the
can
best,
get on
Steve.
with this shit.
I need that. I need it. Craig doesn't need it.
This is what
I
a
need it.
good partner does. He sees what his partner needs and he, makes it happen.
Attention.
Hey, to all of you that make
I
all of this
bathe in
possible, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and for tuning in every week. For a couple of guys just telling a couple dick jokes, trying to talk about some big stuff. We like to think that I like to think psychedelics are the most important thing in the mental health scope. You're scared, aren't you? You're scared he's going to hit that button.
I am thinking. I'm just watching it happen on our screen.
You're scared he's going to do it. I know.
I'm using the force.
We talk about the heavy stuff, and we try to do it in a fun way because we believe these conversations are worth having. And I think psychedelics are going to change the most challenging epidemic we have. People can talk about opioids. They can talk about whatever. It's a mental health epidemic that we have on, whether it's mass shootings, whether it's the opioid crisis, whatever it looks like, whether it's ongoing wars that never end. I don't even think we got to that, but we'll save that for next week. Hopefully we can bring a little bit of levity so that you're comfortable. Hopefully we're the microdose for you to make you don't take the fucking big dose and figure out your own answers to this shit in just a couple of days. You know what I mean?
Oh my!
Hopefully that's what we are. We
My
love you
God.
guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week. Stick around.
Bye, guys. We love you.